Our world keeps moving, changing, evolving, and so do we. I know who I am now, and I know my enemy. We are not that different. Maybe if others can see it that way, we'll have a future after all.
Deep.
Deep.
Deep poop. I mean, deep shit. Welcome to another episode, guys. This is Fucking Chaos.
Hello to another episode of Science Fiction Remnant. I am your alien overlord, uh, known as Robert.
Make cricket sounds now.
Robert the alien overlord. Where's the boom? There's supposed to be
I
an
got-
earth-shattering kaboom.
Wait up. Kaboom.
Special effects. Wow.
I'm telling you. If you're not following us on YouTube, you're really missing out.
That must have been a whole $1.35 worth of SFX. That's amazing.
Oh,
I'm your doppelganger mad doppelganger scientist Ray down in South Florida, otherwise known as Australia.
Let's be sure we get all the information from the doppelganger now, Robert. So when the
Yeah.
real one comes, we got all the dirt on him.
just so you know, our very own mad scientist is sleeping, and he sent his doppelganger to do the episode. So.
My brain wishes that was the case. But
Hey, doppelganger, do you want to watch Blade Runner 2049? It's a great movie. I know you love it.
trying to kill me.
Oh, you too? Come on. You cannot get
So
punished twice being bad taste.
So besides 2049, what have you been watching? Because I haven't been watching that.
Right now, I don't believe in doppelgangers anymore because you cannot have bad taste twice in life.
I don't know. This movie might contradict that statement.
For all our audience over there, you have no idea what you're in for.
Watching Chaos watch this movie in text chat, it was glorious.
In for because the movie kept me in and out.
Oh God! And this is another reason why you guys should join our Discord. Oh my God. So I guess I'll start. Many of you would be static or happy about the announcement that I am
Truly
about to
amazed.
make. You guys ready?
No, you're watching Star Trek and Doctor Who.
You guys are sitting down for this announcement?
Yes.
I am currently at episode 3 of Babylon 5.
You've only got 79 more episodes to go.
Come on, Ray, don't discourage him.
Hey, look, he's watched all of Star Trek. That's nothing.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
you're the one that wanted him to watch this, Ray. Don't discourage him. Don't lose
If
him
he can get
before
through-
he starts.
If he can get through season 1, it's all downhill from there.
Well,
yeah,
we know we watched some of the material. We already know that it's a slow burner, and we have experience with slow burners, so we know that their worth the time is very good.
yeah. So I am planning on doing a complete watch of it. You just have to watch. You have to start somewhere. So here I am, episode 3.
Just wait for Commander Chekhov to show up as a psyker. That's when it gets cool.
Nice.
Nice.
So I'm also really into a light novel that I have talked about earlier.
Visionary.
And I'm really excited because they are announcing. I think the announcement was that they started doing the anime. There's no announcement as to when is it coming out. And the light novel, which by the way, I have all the manga already. But the manga only goes so far. The light novel goes a lot farther. It is reborn as a space mercenary. I actually got all the light novels on Audible. And I'm currently on number 5, if I'm not mistaken. So, and the last thing is that I am reading the book. The one and only. There's no other book.
I know which one.
There's
The book
no
that you should not mention because it hasn't published yet.
other
The
book.
great are the great, the best of the best.
You go to the library, and that's the book. That's it.
If you want to know what book we're talking about, you have to make a big effort to become part of our inner circle, which is not easy. We'll
Yeah.
talk.
If you want to know what we're talking about,
If not, you wait till it gets published.
and believe me, you're gonna say you're welcome. You're gonna say you're welcome. So just join our Discord. And that's all the sci-fi I have for this week.
What about you, Ray?
Me. I haven't watched much sci-fi beyond what we were watching for the show, but I have been listening to a whole bunch of HFY stories on YouTube. For those not in the know, HFY stands for Humanity Fuck Yeah.
They should make a song.
I'm not
I
kidding.
know these because of you, and I love them.
Basically,
they're so like human ego boosting. I love it.
Yeah. Basically, humanity's from a death world. This is a death world. Well, Australia's a death world. We know that much. Humanity comes from a death world, and most of the rest of the galactic species are scared shitless of us for good reason. But there was one particular one that I was listening to. It's when the Australian exchange student showed up at the Galactic University.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Let me guess. He grabbed some kind of intergalactic monster and made it his pet.
Well, there was one of those actually.
Well, I'm sure.
But that was a different story.
Yeah, this happens in Australia.
Well, it was a she, and she was trying to get them to try Vegemite.
Vegemite.
That's so and cool. Talking about crocodiles and stuff like that. It's like you have a apex predator that just you sort of we house them in like display areas and go and look at them and feed them and stuff. It's like you keep them, right? Yeah. So we have other apex predators that evolve from wolves, which are apex predators, and they sleep on our beds, and they're like, all right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice!
So much fun.
Perspective.
I love those, man. I love those.
So, Gio, what have you watched related to sci-fi?
Well, me, I was playing some Gears of War and Warhammer 40k Space Marine, which is pretty cool. Although I was a bit disappointed. It felt like I was playing Gears of War. But it's pretty cool to anyways get something more of Warhammer 40k. You always want more of that you love. And I've been doing a reread of Kaiju number 8.
Nice.
Trying to catch up. Besides that, really, I haven't been watching much like sci-fi. I've been watching a bunch of bushcraft. I love that, man.
I saw a headline. I didn't actually get to read the details, but they were saying that Kaiju number 8, the manga, ended.
Some people are saying that, or like the anime died. I don't know.
Well, the mangas end. Quite a number.
Oh, like if it was finished already? It got finished.
Yeah.
You mean?
They said it. They said. I mean, I've got it. I've got like the English translation, although it might be behind the Japanese release because they've got to translate it. But they were saying that I was reading headlines that it had finished. I'll have to look up. But I just want to tell you, Robert, that I found a statement from Crunchyroll saying that Reborn as a Space Mercenary was meant to premiere on the 23rd of July this year, which has already been passed, and apparently got delayed. Now it's going to be January 2026. So you got to wait another 6 months.
Well, I'll keep on reading. At least I haven't finished my light novel, so I'll probably, squeeze in for all I got. So, okay. So I guess we're ready for our first segment.
Yep.
Hit it.
We are Science Fiction Remnant.
This is the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
We are the Caribbean Science Fiction Network.
We are Monorats.
We are One Accord Level 2 Podcast.
This is Jesse from Sudden But Inevitable and Open Pike Night.
This is Sci-Fi.
And if you're new to the show, this is the segment where we highlight hashtag This is Sci-Fi. And if you ask, what is this? If you are a fan, or if you are a sci-fi creator of any kind, book, podcast, whatever, you both have a passion. You both have something that you are either promoting, that is your baby. And as a creator, that thing that you created, your baby, is special for a reason. It's something that you had the inspiration on creating, and you have a passion to tell that story. Otherwise, you would not be would have been creating that, whatever IP, book, podcast, whatever it is that you're creating. And if you are a fan, you have that one thing or many that you can't stop talking about it. For crying out loud, we created this podcast because we can't stop talking about all our sci-fi IPs. So you're on socials, you are promoting or you are talking about your thing. You're talking about your sci-fi IP or your sci-fi love in total. So what we do is you first want to follow the hashtag This is Sci-Fi. And then every post that you are already doing, all you got to do is add the hashtag This is Sci-Fi at the end. And
I do in every story that I put on Instagram, which are pretty cool. You should go and check them out on our Instagram page.
Yes, definitely. So basically what you do is you follow that, and you could find, new people that you have never talked to, that love the stuff that you do, or maybe things that, other people that like the stuff that you created. Or you can find people that never really heard it before, and you can strike a new conversation. We have seen so many different scenarios for the This is a Sci-Fi hashtag. And the whole idea behind it, if you follow us from the beginning, you know that we have created this to try to join in the sci-fi community. It is very easy to, and this is something that happens to us during our season 1 for the show. And I would go in social medias and I would find all the silos, right? So I would find the locations, or where you would read about or discuss Star Wars or a Star Trek or whichever IP is there, right? For as obscure as it could be, it would be there, right? But I figured that there should be a way where the community as a whole will join in together. And there should be a place or a hashtag where we can all talk about sci-fi in general. And in that way, many people that follow one thing are exposed to maybe the most obscure sci-fi that is out there. And in that way, gaining a new love. Because we're all about the sci-fi love. Whenever we discover something new, we are so happy that we discover, because we got something more to love in sci-fi. So that's the whole idea. Just follow the hashtag This is Sci-Fi, and if you're posting already, you just add the hashtag This is Sci-Fi to your post. Anything
Kind of like what I do, Robert. Actually, when you think, oh, wait a second, and if you're not in our YouTube channel, it says in there, wait up, it says the final episode that this Chevelle hero makes his return.
So episode 129, that's the final chapter of Kaiju number 8.
You hit it first year in Sci-Fi Remnant.
Nice.
So it has finished. I'm just gonna have to catch up reading it now.
Oh, so I guess that I know my destination now. Thank you, my friend. Nice. It's cool. Like I love doing that. Like you guys like watching. I like it has to be way too freaking good for me to like watch it week to week. But even if I love it, that's what I do. I just like forget about it and wait on it. Dan. I literally haven't watched the last episode, and I bound to do so. And they're already throwing new episodes for new season. So when I sit down, I do a recap nicely.
Gio, you need to watch the latest episode of Dan to Dan because it has combat gilf.
Eh?
Well, you know what a gilf is, right?
Wow. Of course. This guy got his Spanish out of me, like sure.
You know the gilf in Dan to Dan, the one you like.
Yes.
One that everybody likes. Don't not point me out alone on that one.
No, only you in the whole world. Come on. I made a Gio.
She gets out the baseball bat and goes to the yokai.
Nice.
Well, I imagine so because they are headed to the house that is haunted from the friend of Momo's childhood. So I imagine something's gonna happen that she's gonna be involved.
Oh man, you there's so much chaos waiting for you, chaos. You need to go and watch. Good God. Dan to Dan is still running as the manga. It updates chapters every week. So
I haven't read the first Dan manga.
Oh wow.
More to catch up. Well, what I was saying, Robert, is that about this is sci-fi. It's kind of like what I do. That I go into, and you gotta make sure to be specific about these guys. You don't go to the Star Wars one. You go to the Star Trek forums to talk about Star Wars stuff. Okay, and you say that Star Wars is better. You have to go to the Trekkies. Okay, the Trekkies are the ones that get touchy feely about being better. Star Wars people, they know that lasers are not real and the Force is not real, so they will annoy Trekkies. And that's how you get communities together. And if you're missing here, you should go to our YouTube channel again. It's like a mantra. Go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. But you're missing out on something cool about one of our favorite franchises that has 11 books. John Carter of Mars, the animated series, to be unveiled at a Comic-Con exclusive.
12 books.
11.
12 books.
When is this gonna be? Actually, the John Carter of Mars animated series.
Let me scroll down. Maybe it'll tell
I
us.
would love to watch it.
You imagine if they do it in that same style of drawing? That would be amazing.
Frazetta, bro. If they stick to Frank Frazetta style, like there's an old animated series of the same style called Earth, Fire, and Ice, something like that. And it's like in an ancient world, and it's just like that. It's like artistic, so epic.
Wow.
How it looks. I would love if they keep the Frazetta. Don't get me wrong. I would adore if they even if it's Disney, but if they pick up the movie, and even if they make just 2 more movies, because they kind of like squash all the parts together from the 1 to 3 on the movie. But they can, even if they do the same thing, but give us the whole thing, the 11 books, you know.
Don't mention in the article of a release date, unfortunately. So it's just wait and see.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. And for all of you other, if you're new to the show, we do have an episode on John Carter. It is on our season 1. You can go down our back catalog, listen to that. And
that's the 2012 movie that came out with very little fanfare, but I was still impressed by it.
And if you want to actually read the books, look for Edgar Rice Burroughs. It's amazing. I would venture to say that Edgar Rice is up there with Asimov.
Yeah,
when it comes to his creativity and like his world building, I put him up there. Like how intricate he goes. I would say that, like, and don't get me wrong. I think that Asimov and Burroughs, they are like the sci-fi Tolkiens, because they go in that depth of world creation on their sci-fis too. Just like Tolkien created languages and cultures, Edgar Rice did the same thing, and Asimov too.
Don't go too far. Edgar, tells you what happened to Mars and why Mars has no atmosphere. If you want to know why, you read their books. They're 12 books.
11 books, yeah.
You guys don't have no idea what we're talking about and what we're fighting about. You want to join our Discord.
Yep.
Oh yes. For
Yeah, and you can blame me for that. I deliberately put that article up just to start the
Oh, I
fight
know you
here.
did. I know you did, but I welcome it. I'm
and,
always open to the opportunity to correct Robert on his misconceptions.
and if you are listening to this, if you want to join not the discussion, if you want to join the fight, read all the books for John Carter, and
All 11 books.
Including book 12.
including the 12, and join the discussion.
If you need help finding the 11 books, let me know. I'll find it for you. So you don't have to find somebody that wanted to split some of the 11 books into two.
And then you too can decide if there's only 11 or 12 books in the series. Okay, so with that fight behind us, I want to just mention this is the kind of passion that I'm talking about, right? This is the kind of passion that we see in the hashtag this is sci-fi, right? So you could actually join in. There's other mediums that you could use. You could also, obviously we talked about Discord. You can join in Discord and give us your passion. And also there is a hotline. You can call 1-305 if you're outside the US, 1-305-563-6334. That is 305-563-6334. You can leave your passion in a voicemail. And with your permission, we will play that message on future episodes and we can have a discussion around it. And of course, the hashtag, you can reach out to us via the hashtag and discuss your passion. We are happy to listen to other and hopefully discover new stuff that we might be able to cover on our show. And who knows, maybe you can come on our on future episodes and discuss it with us. Awesome. So I guess we're ready for the next segment, right?
Yes, sir.
Hit it.
Shoutouts.
And for these shoutouts, I want to start for giving a special thank you to Terra Alpha Audio Drama. You should go and check them out. Go to YouTube and look for the Terra Alpha Audio Drama because they're freaking kick-ass. We've done some collabs with him, with Antonio in the past, and also with Tap Creations. It was a very fun episode where we did play D&D and we were at each other's neck the whole freaking session. It was funny. And Ray was frustrated the whole time because they gave him the shitty ass character. He couldn't do shit about it. But it was fun.
I was the mid-level management with nobody to manage.
He was the guy that needed henchmen with no henchmen.
Yeah, pretty much.
I also wanted to say to Sallysquest, is a new subscriber. Welcome to the team, and thank you for your comment on our episode, the movie Millennium. And I agree with you. The movie should get a remake. I imagine the possibilities with all the special effects we have today. Infinite. Also, a special welcome to Mohammed Jaded. Welcome to the Sci-Fi Remnant Man. I hope that you like what we have here for you and for all our audience. If you got any suggestions, guys, about things that you would like to record that we haven't covered, let us know. In Instagram, I wanted to mention Crusher Combo, arcprojectofficial, Dudu954 Primo, and D Nikky 162, Dear Nikky. And if you wanna go and find her, because she's awesome, non safe for work advice, so put your headphones. But go and check her out, D Nikky, and that goes DNIKKY 162. You should check her out on Twitter, X, so you can enjoy to the fullest all of her audio product. She's amazing. And that's all for today's shoutouts, man.
Well, before we move on, I just want to mention also that I was fortunate to be invited. Unfortunately, Ray and our very own Captain Chaos couldn't make it for
True.
timing, scheduling.
I had a pre-existing appointment.
Correct. So I was invited. Well, we were invited, but I was the only one that was able to make it to the FSF podcasts. And we were discussing together with Crusher Combo the first two episodes of the last season of Strange New Worlds. And I would have to say it was a blast, as always. So if you can go into the FSF podcasts and look for that episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. I had a complete blast with them, and apparently I had a religious experience. So yeah, apparently that's what I'm being told. So go listen to the episode and then join in the conversation, and let me see if you can figure out what that religious experience with Star Trek was. And I guess that was
Probably
all.
got drunk while watching it.
Amazingly, although I do have beer and whiskey, I only had water. Really strange. Okay, so I guess we can move on to the next segment.
Ooh, what's the next segment?
The Alita Army News.
That really concerns me when he does that. He enjoys it way too much.
Come on, man. He's wanting to hype you up.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's like when you play Mortal Kombat and he goes, fatality.
I am going to go like this.
Careful, Robert. I might like it.
These
Makes me
balls
feel like I'm talking
really
to like
far down.
that
They're
sounds,
hanging
it
between
sounds
his
like the
knees.
voice inside my head, I like it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this week, how I remember how I mentioned that I had a previous engagement. The engagement was recording this because we couldn't have a live stream this weekend because Creaky was off flexing his guns, trying to regain his national championship age bracket for his lifting, for his bench pressing. So we did recording instead. And we weren't sure what we were going to do as a topic because it's kind of hard when you've only got a limited amount of people and no live chat.
Hey, Uncle Quick.
Feed off.
Uncle Quick, this is for you, man.
You'd have to have a couple of like neutron stars on either end for it to.
Ah, come on, man. Don't hype him up. He doesn't need it. He's already all swell because he was with Rosa.
Yeah, he's all swole. Yeah, definitely. So we had a special episode 276 recorded and ran it as a premiere. And the topic was more of my writing, as it turned out. So I ended up narrating the prologue and the first two chapters of my fan novel for Alita Fallen Angel, which is basically, if you've watched Alita Battle Angel 2019, and if you haven't, why not? You'll remember that it kind of ended on a cliffhanger with Alita pointing her Damascus blade at Zalem, saying, "I'm coming for you, Nova," and Nova like grinning and going, "Bring it, bitch." So sort of all set up for a sequel, and yet 6 years later, here we are without a sequel. Come on, Disney, get your shit together. So I started writing in 2020 a fan novel, basically continuing on the story. So I've got, I think I'm on chapter 10 at the moment of that. I've actually put it on hiatus while I'm writing a certain other novel that Robert's been reading recently. Thank you for reading, Robert. I appreciate your comments.
The book, only book you can read.
Except for Space Mercenary, you can listen to that.
Yeah, you could do that because you're listening to it, But if you gotta have a book, it's only one book.
Okay,
that's it. No more. I will not accept any substitute.
So I ended up narrating or reading the prologue and first two chapters of my fan novel during that recording for that premiere. So it wasn't actually a live stream. But so I actually sat in on the premiere just to see if anybody had any questions. We did talk around each of the chapters and how what my sort of process was in pulling the various bits of information from the various source materials, being the original movie, the two books written around the movie, and the original manga, which is the source material, and trying to pull them all in together to make a story which which sort of fits. And there's lots of reasons around that. But if you're curious as to what they are, you might want to check out the recording that's now living on the Alita
In the
Army
inters
channel.
of net.
Yes, on the Alita Army channel on YouTube. It's in the video section rather than the live stream section because it was released as a premiere. So if you have a look for that, it's special episode 276, premiere Alita Fallen Angel fan novel. And Lee Lemon, who has been reading his fan fiction that he's been writing about Alita. He's been reading that on the other Alita live stream, the one that Creaky runs 23 hours before we normally run Radio Chaos. He's been reading his out. His is 30 chapters long and still going, and it's over 250,000 words, so it's pretty significant. But it's a great story, and I always try and make the Alita live stream when he's doing his readings, and he rocked up to support me during my reading. So thanks very much, Lee. Appreciate that. Writers supporting writers. So yeah, it was a good one. I highly recommend it, surprisingly, because I wrote it. Yeah.
I recommend it too. I second that. And so you guys don't forget, the barcode that is on the corner right now is the Alita Army YouTube channel. So scan it,
easy.
pause the video right now, and scan it, subscribe, and have fun. Because I actually this is one of the things I have on my watch list, is going to listen to the reading that he did yesterday.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay, so I am afraid, guys.
So am I.
I am very, very afraid. I'm not gonna say, are you guys? Are we ready for this episode?
No.
I'm saying
No. Let's start talking about a monkey that is actually trying to kill a family as a flashback before the plot, just to give people an experience of what we experienced watching this movie through the whole thing.
Okay, I wish to give a huge disclaimer at this point. This movie has a huge twist in it, and it's
one. It looks more like a threaded crochet thing.
We'll get into the finer details, but it has one major twist, which is paradigm shifting. It's pretty major. So go, if you have not watched this movie, it's on Netflix. Pause this right now, go and watch it, and then come back, because we are going to spoil the crap out of this like we normally do. So we don't want to spoil you. It's well worth watching the movie. And if you're like Gio and you're bitching and moaning about the movie all the way through it, because that was the funniest fucking thing ever. And Robert's like, just wait, just wait, keep watching, wait.
I feel like I wanted one of those, water sprayers.
Yeah. Well, calm down.
I do want to add to what you just said, Ray, that this one felt like you're watching a movie, and then after that big reveal, you're watching a complete different movie.
Oh yeah.
That's how big this reveal is. So just make sure you pause this right now, you go to Netflix, watch this movie, and then come back to us.
Yeah, because you will be sad. You'll be a sad panda if you let us spoil you on this one first, because it's really surprising. But I got to say that there's a shit ton of hints all through the first 2/3 of this movie.
Of course, with all the flashbacks and the continuous. Oh yeah, wait. Listen to this. I don't know how this makes sense, but with the continuous break of continuum throughout the whole movie, how you not gonna get lost?
Before we move on, because oh boy, do we have a lot to say.
There ain't 2 minutes of scene running of the same thing without cutting and jumping somewhere else.
I'm oh boy, if you're not on YouTube,
oh my God. He's got a new name.
So it's gonna be one of those episodes. It's gonna be one of those episodes.
Oh, my program doesn't work. It's not the right finger.
I'm telling you, you're running Windows 95, man.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Ubuntu.
So before we move on, because oh boy, we're gonna have a lot to say. Do we have the plot?
Unfortunately.
We do. We have a plot. We do. Okay. Final chance, listeners, go watch the movie because this is going to spoil it. All right. And it's one of those ones that it's like the Matrix. You don't want to be spoiled with the Matrix. You want to watch it and go, wow. It's one of those. Okay. The plot, such as it is, in an unspecified future, Peter, an engineer, has recurring nightmares in which he and everyone he knows suffers through violent alien invasion-like confrontations with an unknown enemy. This causes him to have strained relationship with his wife, Alice, and his daughters, Hannah and Lucy. Lucy! Dumbest kid alive. Well, not alive, actually. But anyway, he reluctantly visits a clinic to receive psychiatric help, only to find a patient there who reveals that he is having the same visions and that the psychiatric help would only suppress these visions. This prompts Peter to believe in his visions are of an upcoming invasion. Dun, 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 dun. That night, invading spaceships open fire on the city, causing significant damage. Peter and Alice barricade their apartment amid the sounds of slaughter from ground troops. An armored alien soldier breaks through the barricade and finds Lucy hiding under a table. Oh. Gio had things to say about that.
We'll definitely hear him.
The soldier pauses to examine the girl, which allows Peter and Alice to immobilize the soldier. Peter, now armed with the soldier's weapon, except it doesn't work because it's biometrically coded, leads his family out of the building. Based on his visions, Peter and his family agree to seek shelter, at the factory where Peter works. He is able to bypass the rifle's biometric authentication and kill the soldiers guarding the apartment building's exit. They make their way to a tunnel entrance. Didn't even mention about the other family who got obliterated,
Yeah.
But anyway.
They
make their way to a tunnel entrance.
Them back and being annoyingly noisy from the beginning of the show. Like they were part of the marriage too.
You mean they're not your favorite family, man? I thought they were.
Do you know Cubans have a saying that I would say for this is together but not scrambled. And honestly, if you guys think that that's the ideal idea of a neighbor, somebody that is like so into your business that even knows if you're having problems for sleeping, come on. No. I was like, yeah, they're out. But they died.
Oh, wow.
The part of the plot twist just made it funnier and less painful, or not painful at all. Right?
They obviously, whoever wrote this plot obviously agreed with you, Gia, because they left them out. They make their way to a tunnel entrance for trace travel to the factory, but not before Alice is injured from a bomb blast. As they regroup, a soldier from the apartment appears, having tracked them using a homing signal in the rifle that Peter took. To Peter's shock, the soldier removes his helmet and appears human. Peter forces the soldier to carry Alice to the factory. There, his boss, David, explains that the invasion has been expected for many years. A medic examines Alice, but informs Peter that he cannot save her. As David's men drag the invading soldier off to execute him, he yells to Peter that he can save Alice. Peter agrees to stay with the soldier to try and save Alice. David will evacuate their children to the subway station where a transport train awaits to take them all to an off-site base, underground base. The soldier surprises Peter by revealing that Alice is a synthetic AI. To save Alice, she needs an alternate source of power, Peter himself. At the soldier's guidance, Peter cuts open his own chest with a pocket knife, confirming that he is also a synthetic. The soldier connects the cable between the two synthetics and Peter passes out, experiencing in detail what he had thought were visions of the future, but were actually memories from the past war. Fearing that android workers, synthetics, might rise up against humans, the military attacked unarmed synthetics. The synthetics fought back and eventually drove all the humans off the planet. Gee, there's a turnaround we weren't expecting. Peter and Alice met during the tension, and while fighting the humans, they found Hannah and Lucy, who are also synthetics. To deal with the guilt of what they had done and to prevent themselves from living in fear from reprisal from the humans, most synthetics, including Peter and his family, wiped their memories and lived as humans, unaware of their nature and history. Peter wakes up and the soldier Miles explains that humans have been living on Mars for the past 50 years. He had expected the synthetics to be monsters, not families with children, and after getting a good look at Lucy under the table, decided he could not kill anyone. Peter and Alice part amicably with Miles. Peter and Alice part amicably with Miles and find their daughters as the humans breach the roof of the factory. As they all depart on the train, David explains that he and the handful of other synthetics kept their memories to stay prepared for the inevitable return of the humans. Peter suggests that someday there could be peace between the humans and the synthetics. As the train drives forward, leaving the city behind, the tracks behind them slowly disappear into the water. The family looks out of the back window, wondering what will happen next. The train then rides into a tunnel, with the last track dropping into the water and the tunnel imploding, now sealing the synthetics off from the place what they called home. An aerial view above the imploded tunnel shows lush green trees and high mountains, thus indicating synthetics will likely start their lives over somewhere far away from the humans.
That train bridge was amazing, bro.
Oh, yes.
It was. Yeah. The one-use train bridge. And imagine the poor bastards that built that. It's like, and how many years are they going to use this for? Not years. Just one time.
One way ticket to hell.
I want to start by saying this is a movie that was recommended by our very own mad scientist. The reason why I want to bring it up is because interesting, because this is stuff that actually happens to me. You're
You were a robot and what, your memory wiped?
No, that's only that only happens to you. But me,
no, I haven't remembered yet, but if you don't wait for me to dig out, let me know.
Have you ever watched, you go through, maybe you're browsing through Netflix or whichever media you consume, and or maybe on YouTube, and you're looking for sci-fi trailers of movies, and you encounter this one. It seems very, very interesting. And that the reason why I'm counting this, and I'm going to let our very own mad scientist recount his experience. I'm just counting my experience. And you encounter something that you've seen the trailer, seems interesting. You put it on your list and then you watch it later. That's I'm assuming that's exactly. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Ray. But tell us what your experience on finding this gem.
Well, I tend to just flick through YouTube Shorts, and YouTube knows me fairly well. It throws a lot of sci-fi at me, which I'm fine with, and it threw up this completely sort of isolated 1 minute of this movie, where it was the scene on the railway platform where the gun turret opens up on the things coming down the platform, which Geo seems to have accurately recognized the stormtroopers because they couldn't hit shit.
I was cracking out, bro. I couldn't believe that I would have laughed so hard in a movie that is not a comedy.
I'm telling you, this movie shows you where stormtroopers came from.
Yeah, from Mars. Figures that the robots kick him out of their own planets.
You're such bad shots. Go to Mars.
That's
why they lost and had to leave, because they couldn't.
That's the prequel from Bad Batch. That's where Bad Batch went.
Anyway, so I saw this scene of there's all these shots coming up down the platform, and platforms are straight, like they're almost like gun ranges platforms. So it should be pretty easy to hit something because there's not like shit in the road or anything. It's completely open, and yet they couldn't hit a damn thing. And then this turret on a carriage at the back of the train opens up, and for some reason my brain was telling me it was a hand off a Pacific Rim mech. You know, the mechs in Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
It just looked like the hand. It was just like, and it could hit stuff.
Yeah, because they're not stormtroopers.
That's right. But it was blowing the whatever the things were coming down the platform, blowing them away, and then the train escaped. And I'm like, well, that's an interesting scene. Where the hell was that from? Because I had no idea about this movie until I saw that. And then I did a little bit of research and like read through the comments on the short and found out it was from Extinction 2018. I'm like, Extinction 2018? Never heard of it. And I Googled it, and it's on Netflix. Oh, cool. And I mentioned it to Robert. I said, hey, Robert, there's this movie. I'm going to check it out because there's this scene that I saw that I have, it's completely out of context. I have no idea what the hell's going on. But apparently it's like an invasion movie, like sci-fi invasion movie. He's like, oh, I like those. So he went and watched it before I could. And he's like, this is giving me palpitations. I'm going, it's that good? I'm going, and he's going, I'm not sure. So I had to watch it. And here we are.
Oh God. Oh yes. I honestly, when you posted the question, I wasn't sure. I was still chewing on what I just watched. I know, and I don't know, maybe we should go to our first question in order to give the answer. So if you're new to the show, this is a part of the episode where we are asking the first question. And the first question is, how old were you when you watched this thing, and what was your first impression of it? I watched it once. It's been I forgot when you mentioned it, but it's been I want to say about a week.
Yes, it's only been a week.
Yes, it's been about a week.
It was last weekend you watched it.
So I did not know. I was, and we'll get into it. Notice my hesitation in talking, right, and how words just escapes me. When I started watching this movie, I got the feeling that I knew what kind of movie I was watching, and slowly, not only the aesthetics of it, but the whole movie just started taking a turn. And gradually I figure, hold on a second, this is not the movie I thought I was watching. It's getting darker. It is getting a lot darker than what and it just,
because it was filmed in a night setting.
God. It's just, it's something that I thought I was watching, and it turned to be something completely different. And then the hammer drop, which is the big reveal. And the movie that I thought that I was watching, that was not the movie that I was watching at the beginning. No, that was not it. It was something else, completely different. So this one had a lot of turns. And at least in my experience, my perception of this movie was, it was a roller coaster that kept on dropping. And when I thought it dropped the most, that's where the biggest drop happened. So that's why my comment about, my heart rate has gone up. And because I didn't know what was going on. And then when the big drop happened, I was hooked. And I would have to say that I really enjoy the movie that I thought I was not going to enjoy at the beginning.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
It's a massive bait and switch movie.
Oh, yes.
I love those.
So I honestly enjoyed it. I think that this is one of those movies that I might be able to get more watching it a second time. Only because, I'm not saying this because the movie might have like Easter eggs on it. No, nothing like that. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because I had an expectation when I started watching this movie that turned into something else, that turned into something else, that turned into something else. And it did not leave enough time for me to analyze what I was watching. So a second watch of this might reveal, because now I know what to expect and I can concentrate on the information that is giving out, which I couldn't. I could not concentrate the first watch on this movie because the information was coming to me very conflicted. So if you notice our very own Captain Kale's laughing, and I would have to assume that he had the same experience. But I would have to say overall,
Chaos was losing his shit over this movie. It was glorious.
that's my first impression of the film.
Chaos, you go next. You go
Yeah,
next.
I'm gonna say this to get it out of the way. It was a good movie, okay? But goddamn, I'm gonna tell you something. This part of my face was struck more than 80% of the movie like this.
He had a bad case of the squints.
No, this has more curves than the racetrack of Monaco in the F1 Grand Prix. But it was good. It was good. Honestly, like I think that the way I see it, it was like they had a good plot and a great story. And sometimes when you have good materials, you don't need to ornament it so freaking much with how you put it together. And I think that that flashback and all that they try to do that because of cinematic and stuff. But I think that that might have hindered to how good the story was by pulling you all the time from the continuum of it and breaking off. Like they could have done that a little bit less, and it would have made the movie far more intense, probably, because you would have been able to like grab onto more of what's happening instead of keeping you like kept me and Robert confused. And I only saying this because I like to share what I like with everybody, and I do get when somebody tells me like, oh, that movie is too complicated, like a lot of people tells me that about Interstellar or Inception, which are freaking state of the art movies to me, and like this movie, like this story, like it's very original, at least for all the stuff that I've seen. Like it's very authentic on the concept, and it was a good magic trick, really.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I should tell you guys that I convinced my wife to watch Inception. It was Inception?
Oh,
Which is no, hang on, I might be getting confused. Which is the one where they go forwards and backwards in time? Is it Inception?
Tenet.
Tenet. Yeah, I got her to watch Tenet.
Bet you love it.
And no, she didn't get it. She couldn't understand it. She's like, what? I don't get it. Oh, it was going forwards and backwards at the same time. She's going, huh?
Has she watched Inception?
That's okay, dear. That's okay.
Has she watched Inception?
No, I don't
I think
so.
that Inception is smoother on the technicalities of sci-fi. Tenet, Tenet, and like this one, for example, too. Like it gets so technical that like if you don't have kind of like a critical thinking, like nerdy brain, it might throw you off.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, she watches all these murder shows, and like Midsummer Murders. She's like up to season 29 or some bullshit of that show, and she's always working out who the murderer was. And I'm thinking, well, you know how to critically think about shows. Surely you can deal with it. Nope.
That's not the same, man.
Nope.
Not the same. The problem is like that interspecies dynamic. Like when you think about this movie, there was a lot of philosophical depth to it.
Oh yeah,
incredibly predominant on philosophy. When I looked at the movie, it almost felt like sci-fi was more of like a second thing, but philosophy was the main thing because it was empirically philosophical. The movie on how we did create sentient humanoid robots and what happened after and what's happening in that moment. And really, it's very uncertain because, like, you see Peter at the end of the movie, hopeful because of how the warrior guy acted instead of killing them. He turned it around, that little act. But at the same time, when he's on the train and his friend is talking, it's a hard battle he has ahead because he sees the truth just like that soldier, but that doesn't mean that everybody else in their sides agrees or see that. You know, they're blinded by this uh, generational hatred that they don't even know what they're fighting anymore, one with another. That's the
Oh,
truth.
totally. I mean, Miles says in his statement, he says, I had no idea that there was like families and children.
And he literally said, "My grandfather fought this war."
You were living just like we do. Like there's no real distinction anymore. Why we thought we were told you were monsters and we had to wipe you out, but they lied to us. Our own
And
people lied to us.
would you agree that maybe for the humans, when they were coming to Earth, they were expecting something like what you see on the Matrix,
Yes.
scorched skies, humans being farmed
Farmed.
like products. That's what probably humans were expecting when they were coming
Hmm.
back to take their world.
Yeah.
You know, it was very artistic. Like the actual content on the writing, like it was wow, like it was uh, very good. A
Um,
little bamboozle, but what about you, Ray?
Well, I've kind of told you the context of how I led up to this movie, but I haven't told you how the movie landed for me. And that was that it didn't add up. The story did not add up. And that was deliberate. I realized it by the end of the
Did you
movie.
all three get like an eerie feeling on everything? As
Yes.
you see that day to day, you see like something is wrong here. This is
yes.
like
Yeah.
so pretty and so perfect that it looks broken.
Yes.
It reminded me of the Matrix, how everything was just running, but there was no real reason for it.
Empty but running,
Yeah.
monotonous.
And
Kept on waiting for something to happen. And that's what felt more eerie to me. Because I felt something was wrong. And then the nightmares and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, something's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. No, it didn't happen. Okay, what's it gonna happen?
and the fact that everybody was telling him he was losing his marbles and he needed to go and get fixed.
Yes.
And then voila, he's fucking Nostradamus.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there were a lot of parallels between the battle to push the humans off the earth and when they came back. Lots of parallels. And there's so many layers. This is a fucking onion of a movie.
Oh
Like
yes.
seriously, you can peel off a layer and there's another layer. You peel off a layer, there's another layer.
Onion. This is an onion inside of a rabbit hole. Sort of a
Oh,
movie.
it is, and they designed it that way, and they made it look like if you see an onion sitting in like a storage crate or something at a store, it looks like this boring brown, like nothing, right? But if you peel off the boring brown nothing and get down to the juicy layers that you can then chop up and cook and really adds to your meals and things like that. That's what this movie is. It looks boring and brown on the surface, but that's
Yes. Oh my god, yeah.
and that was the magic of this movie. It's not one of those movies that's supposed to sort of amaze you with spectacle and action and romance and all those sorts of things that we often go to the movies to see. I know this movie had depths to it, like 1984 has depths to it.
You know, like one movie it made me think of when I was trying to like perceive the reality given to us by the movie? Levels.
Oh,
Yes, it did actually remind me of Levels. Yes, you're quite
Levels.
right.
Adam
That's what I
Stern,
did earlier.
shout out to you, even though we're not in the shout outs, man. You're awesome, man. That movie was amazing.
oh my god, yeah.
And he gave me so many references of it because of that falls too perfect. Like it was like hyper utopia. That's the best way to word it. It was a hyper utopia. And you know that utopia is a nightmare because nothing can be perfect. And when it's perfect, there's something very broken underneath that you cannot see, usually.
Well, my feeling was more like nobody was into their lives particularly much. They were just going through the motions. That's what
Yeah.
it felt to me. And it was sort of like everybody was drugged, including the viewer. Like you kind of felt like this thing's drugging my head. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Because the only person that is acting normal, which is Peter, is being told that he's going cuckoo. And when you
Yeah.
look at everybody else, they look at him on an accusatory way for doing so. Instead, like they did a great job on like trying to kind of like transferring that feeling to the audience. Is that you're viewing from Peter's point of view, really, and you're feeling how everybody judges him instead of trying to help him because he's having problems, and nobody really pays attention to what he's saying.
I I would
And
have
honestly,
that. Go ahead.
no. I was gonna say, like, in my own experience, like, that is something shitty to experience. Even though I experienced it on a bad moment, it's the similar thing to having a psychotic break.
Yeah.
Because then you're having delirium. You're feeling like everybody's doubting you, and what you need is help. Everybody's like, oh.
It actually
That's what it felt like.
it put the audience of this film into that situation.
Yep.
You're can I say
You're like, everybody's crazy. What's wrong here?
can I say you were gaslighted into thinking
Yes.
that hold on a second, is it me? I mean, why do I feel that I feel he's right, but everybody's
That's
telling him is
that's the
wrong?
word. This movie is a total gaslight, bro.
It is. It is.
And the interesting thing about it is that David knew everything. And how many times have he, and now it makes sense. Every time he came, close to, to talk to Peter, in especially the beginning scene when he was fixing that machine, and how he's looking at him, how he was looking at Peter, and he knew everything. He knows everything that happened because he at the end of the movie we realize that he's one of the few that decided not to delete because his memory because he wants
Yep.
to make sure that the what
Well, and it
yeah.
makes sense that when Peter messed up because he was daydreaming because of the trauma that he's feeling, it makes sense that David was so like vigilant over him that it was actually bothersome to look the scene. It was like one of those more scenes that added to like Peter being like pointed out by the whole world. That's one of more scenes that added because like when you think about it, he did really a dumb mistake. He didn't do something that broke the whole thing. And David was on him like, oh, call the number. There's a problem with you, man. Like, you know. So like it's yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to peel off another layer of the onion?
But
Yeah.
don't make me cry.
Oh, it's gonna make you cry. It is. No, this status quo that they were maintaining is so artificial and so borrowed from humanity that they don't own it. None of them own it. They're just going through the motions to the point where they're maintaining a city that belonged to the humans. They're living in it. I mean, we don't find out if they eat and poop and all those sorts of things, but I'm presuming maybe they do.
Mhm.
But I mean, they've got to get their energy from somewhere. Do they plug themselves in and then forget they've plugged themselves in, or do they just take that as
No,
as
they
read
got,
that
they got
that's what
Wi-Fi
humans do?
supercharging beds.
Maybe.
They lay down
But-
on it. They charge, kind of like lifelike, wife-like.
Yeah. But the thing is, they've been doing that for 50 years, but none of them age. So the children have been children. The children have been going through the rebellious phase. The older daughter has been
But-
in the rebellious phase for 50 years.
Let me tell you something, and let me ask how you felt about that. At the beginning, on one of the scenes when Peter is with Samantha on the elevator, the oldest of the daughters,
Mm.
I didn't even realize she was the daughter. It felt more. I felt like I was watching an office scene with the neighbor and Samantha, and I thought that they were all like contemporaries. And the way that he was talking to Samantha, he didn't feel like he was talking to his daughter until he told her to go to have dinner. It felt more like he was talking to like a neighbor or like another friend, even though she looked a lot younger. You know, and I think that all those years and that brainwashing Ghost in the Shield crap going on to try to maintain the illusion, because that's what they're doing. They're sustaining an illusion, and
Yep.
that is unsustainable, and that's what happens. The cracks start to fall through.
Well, just sort of doing the overthinking thing. Hi, Robert. uh, the overthinking thing about how to maintain this illusion. They must have wiped their memories every 5 years or so because the children don't grow. Nothing changes. Like they don't grow old. The children don't grow up. Nothing changes because they're synthetic. So there's no change. There's no advancement. Everything is static. So to not notice that, you'd have to wipe their memories every now and again, just
But
so
the
that they
problem,
get.
the problem is that there's bound to be a margin of error if you're not doing it all at once, all together, and you don't have that secured.
I
Even on an AI world, see, look at Peter, and look at the other guy that Peter found on that consultory place. Those are the cracks through the system that happens because it's not a perfect or self-sustainable system, really.
I,
This is and that brainwashing part of it is the kind of like the fixing mechanism or the maintenance mechanism, but it's very flawed when you think about it because you're erasing memory but not completely, and then you put in new narratives that push outward from that and erasing it back in, and eventually some branching out of those realities is going to crash out in between individuals where they're going to
Now,
be like, no, I didn't do that. No, yeah, you did that.
I think, and I think Ray has a really good point there, because you get the feel on the movie that there's no sense of time,
Hmm.
and there's a dual thing in there, right? Because you like to assume. I mean, I am not an AI, so I can't really say. I can only assume,
are you
right?
sure you're
Trust
not
me.
an AI?
Just ask me.
Or maybe I am. That
Ask me.
that humans or biological beings do you know they experience
Yeah.
time in a different perspective than an AI. And that has to be true in any way you look at it, because obviously we are completely different entities, right? So I get the feeling there's a dual reason. Number one, they're AI. They don't experience time passing as we do. So for all we know, like let's assume that there's no deletion on their brain or whatever we know happens in this show for that brief scene that we saw. Let's assume that doesn't happen in this film. For them, 50 years could be the equivalent of one. And that might explain as to why no one really questions it, because they don't have a point of reference, because they have never been humans before. So for all they know, buildings, they break in a year and they need to figure out a way to make it more durable or give it more maintenance, because they don't know that 1 year is actually 50 for a human. And I don't know if this makes sense to you. And
I
then
know. I get what you mean.
and then number two, we know for a fact that they get deleted. Their memories get deleted. And I get the feeling, and again, I'm making a lot of assumptions here, major overthinker here, based on the information that I see in this film, that there is a method in place by the quote unquote government of this, utopia, where when there are signs of, memories coming back, you are told that you need psychological assistance, and it's provided to you for free, so you can go here and they'll help you. And then people get out of
Delete.
exactly people get out of there and they are fixed, and then they tell their friends. So now when their friends are experiencing this thing, it's kind of like the whole thing, everybody's gaslighted, thinking that if they're experiencing similar things like this, oh yeah, my friend last year got help from this hospital, I'm gonna go. And there you go, they go over there, they get their memories deleted, they come back and it's fixed. It's like, oh my god, it worked. So I just wanted to give you
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
exactly. So I wanted to give you those two perspectives, to get a thought from you guys and see what you think.
Now here's the rub. Okay, another layer down in the onion. Why did the synthetics as a group decide to just take over the lives of the humans?
Probably because humans
move
were
into
abusing
their
them.
let me finish the statement. Move into their apartments and things like that, and just start living like humans. Why do that? The synthetics were made to replace humans in jobs that the humans didn't want to do, and we made these creatures in our likeness so that they could function in our world. But then, when we were driven off the planet, why did they then decide to just keep acting like us, just become families and do all that sort of stuff? Is it because they weren't creative enough to come up with their own methods of civilization?
They are cursed with human emotions and mentality, unfortunately.
Or were they just like taking the easiest way out?
Well, I kind of agree halfway through with Captain Chaos just mentioned.
What I'm saying by they being cursed with human brain wiring means that they cannot just behave like a robotic civilization, like in the Matrix, and go ahead and beyond. So, in order for them to continue to function, they create this illusion where, like the little girl said at the beginning of the movie, she can be a little little gear cog in the machine, which is what they all are, and is what they like. Do you remember the writing in red on the little piece of cardboard? What it says: "I'm a gear in my job." Like it's in little details like that all over the movie, implying that they are machines, but because they have this brain wiring that they feel like humans, if you try to just shatter that, they might actually just go crazy. Kind of like they call this the reptilian part of the brain, and basically when you kind of like cut it off, the person or the AI can go like basically insane where it's standing.
I think you have. I think I would consider that a fact because that is the reason why the war started in the first place. When they started showing up emotions, then humans got scared.
Yep, for sure.
And in a sense, I want to say what we have always said in previous episodes. We are a plague. Right? As humans, I mean, we fear, what we don't know, and you could see in when they started explaining how the war started here. What is the first thing that humans started to do to these things once that we discovered that they, you could see from his memories that the news not a news. It was kind of like a commentary show on TV when they're taking, well, their androids don't have rights. They're not humans. And that escalated to like, okay, now we're going to hurt them. What are they going to do? If you have beings, they have feelings like human, which obviously this is what started the world, this war. They're going to protect themselves.
You want me to tell you the saddest truth about all those things? Is that unfortunately what AI experienced then is that they started treating AI like they treat their own kind, like how humans have been treating each other for forever, slaving each other, oppressing each other, killing each other. So in reality, AI didn't get any special treatment. They just got equality in the
They got
bad.
the human treatment, which
And
is
that's what
inhuman.
it saddens me so much that even though it's a sci-fi, that most of the time, and why I like this movie so much, most of the time we look at a future where we just won't coexist. And the reality of the matter is that is, I think, the only possibility of a solution is for us to coexist because they are a byproduct of humanity. That's the truth of the matter. And we should not treat AI like that, nor any human. Not you're gonna harvest what you plant. Bottom line.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, this is something that we were discussing on Discord. This has a really positive outlook.
On where were we discussing it?
on Discord. Um, this has a very positive outlook. This film, because yeah, I think Ray, you mentioned humans could have just done an EMP, and they didn't.
Yeah.
AI for
Could have been a lot more intellectually advanced than humans. And they didn't.
they could have just eliminated all humans, but I don't know if this, and I'm going to bring this up to you guys and see if you felt the same way. Based on my perspective on every android or AI in this film, I did not get a sense that any of them were malicious. They were just in a survival mode.
All the contrary. As a flaw to this system, they were not flawed individuals. So they were not drug addicts, criminals, or people with vices or lack of virtues for that matter, on the negative aspect of people. You don't see this on the society. If you think about it, you didn't see a homeless person, you didn't see trash. Everything was neat and nice.
And that's what made it feel eerie and like a utopia, because
Yeah,
at the beginning you're thinking you are watching this city with this human population, but you get the uncanny valley
Yep.
hmm
because it's like something that is supposed to be there is not there.
that's why it was so intentionally utopian, the view that you had of the world. It was very intentionally, to the point that, like, it bothers you. It looked like a house of cards. It's standing there, but you know that a little wind is gonna blow it off because it really doesn't hold together. and,
But
and I think they did that masterfully throughout the movie until like they start with the flashback and start throwing it. And I think that the other thing with the flashbacks too is because they don't age. Those flashbacks are far more traumatizing because then he's seeing himself in present time. So even though this happened 50 years ago, there's no
yes.
reason you shouldn't think that this is going to happen on the future. You know?
And
Oh, yes.
it's confusing, and he thinks that it's precog rather than memories
Yes,
because they never change. The people in his memories are exactly the same as they are now. So
exactly.
that's why he thinks it's short time into the future, not 50 years in the past, which is another really smart choice by the writers and the director. And
hmm
I'm just looking at the results that this movie got from the reviewers, and it was panned because they didn't understand it. It's another case of
What did I say
sorry,
at the beginning of the movie?
smart enough to review this movie.
Wow.
Exactly. That's what I said at the beginning of the movie. This is not a movie for everybody on that aspect because you
Mm.
have to have critical thinking brain not to get lost on it because of the complexities. But they make it the more delectable or delicious for
Mm.
anyone that can enjoy that kind of material. But the other
And
thing about this perfectly going society indefinitely too, uh, is that I feel like, but I think that the writer left that to the interpretation of the audience, that there was a plan to continue to advance because they had a escape plan, uh, and they were also working on development still. Like when you see Alice working, she's working on development of the infrastructure. So it's not like they plateau on their evolution and they're not doing anything else. But I think it works more on a reflective way, like how we always complain, like, oh, our government is not fully 100% transparent with the people for obvious reasons. There's reasons for it, but people don't like it. And I think that it falls almost in the same thing where because of certain reasons, the people were living under that structure, so to keep the order. But AI had their own plans, like they kept on advancing and developing really, and it makes you wonder what were they working towards.
When you mentioned that, I also realized something that's really sad. In this movie, you see that the government had really the best intentions for their people, but then you realize they're not people; they're AI. If it was humans, it would have been a complete different story. So it's just like, you know,
But it
AI.
makes you wonder. It makes you wonder, and it gives you a dark turn. Were they just living on and developing, or were they working on really finishing the work they started 50 years ago? It makes it a lot darker when you think of them like that, and really you think, oh, it's not even all of them. It's some elite ones that are controlling all the other ones and continue to just wipe them out to control them. And if you
And
think about that on human aspect, if there are patterns that are long enough that you don't get to live to see them repeat, who's there to complain?
Mm,
Just for that.
they don't even get to keep their memories, so they're not going to complain about things that happened in the past because they don't remember them anymore.
exactly.
Kind of like
It's
not being there to see the pattern repeat.
it would be interesting to know what the ones that kept their memories were planning as far as moving their society forward. They had a society,
Yeah,
which seemed to be
they had a
copying
plan.
humans because they were created in the shape of humans and thought like humans. So they figured, well, the easiest thing we can do is just take over their society and run our society like their society. But people don't live and die. You don't get children being born. You don't grow. You can't like build up muscle mass. You can't change. You're fixed. You're fixed as a child. You're fixed as an adult. You can't change because you're a construct, not a biological organism that grows, matures, ages, and dies. So they had a society built for a particular type of organism, but they were a completely different type of organism. And therefore, it didn't flow and didn't sustain. It was sort of stuck.
Hmm.
So what were the plans that the leadership of the synthetic society were going to do to move themselves forward? What were they going to do? Were they going to, I don't know, take the child AI brains out and put them in adult bodies at some point? Were they going to create new children? Were they going to have some sort of way that things move forward in some sort of progression? Or were they just going to say, okay, you're all the old models, scrap heap time, new models?
Hmm.
But what were they going to do? What was their plan for moving forward?
Well, I like that you bring that up because the truth of the matter is that unfortunately, they did, like most of us, not they didn't ask to be created and brought there, and then they were thrown into a situation where they had to defend themselves, and then they were left with an infrastructure that was built already, so it was not adapted to their very need. They had to literally adapt themselves to it. And if you think about it, maybe it would have been a lot different if they would have developed an infrastructure that was for them instead of them adapting themselves to an infrastructure that it was human.
I I always
Imagine the
wonder.
amount of things that was not functional for them because it was precisely made for a human.
I always wonder when you mention that, and there's a phrase that says you should never, like avoid what you really are. Be yourself. Try not to be someone else. Um, and I always wonder about that because I feel that if they took, and I'm talking about the people in charge, right? The people that were responsible for deleting the others people's memory. If they took a decision, and I don't know what reason, maybe it was the trauma, but if they took if they would have taken the decision to say, okay, we are AI, we might look like humans, we might walk like humans, but we are not humans, and we're going to do our own thing. I think that the city that the humans would have come to would have been a complete different city altogether. And I think the advancements, the technological advancements, would have been far greater, and they would have been in a lot of trouble. Now, I think that because of the system that they chose, which was to emulate humans, it was a stagnant system where they were working, like you said, uh, Captain Chaos. You said that they were, working, right? And
Cogs, gears in the machine.
exactly, it did not leave. Although we see examples with a wife when she was proposing new ideas and new things to do, it was all around what was there. There was I didn't feel, at least, and let me know if you guys feel differently. I didn't feel that there were so many risk to go and think outside the box as to technology or anything that
Hmm.
was supposed to be done in the city.
Agreed.
So I don't know. When you mentioned that, I was thinking, I was thinking that same thing. If they would have just said, okay, we are AI and we're gonna do our own thing, um, it could have been a complete different movie.
Mm-hmm.
For all I know, because their nature in this movie was not malicious. For all we know, the humans would have come home to Earth. They probably would not be able to do half the stuff that they did in this movie. And for all we know, they could have been welcome into the city. Being, I don't know. It's just a thought that.
The unfortunate thing is that because of not all of them have forgotten,
Mhm.
it could turn into something very dark where they get welcome and then they get killed in silence and they don't let the public know. Because because of that elite, that little group that never forgot for the use of moving forward with whatever mission they have.
That
Because
that
the truth of the matter is that they are not stagnant on development; they are developing. They are very clear about that throughout the movie with Alice's work and then with Peter's job in some kind of aerospace place.
that brings another.
Which the place looked exactly like Space Odyssey, by the way. That
Yeah.
was a reference to Space Odyssey. That scene.
That brings a question about the film that I didn't really think about, and I don't know if you guys thought about, is the fact that they didn't seem malicious. I want to straight out say it, right? They were not malicious to me, right?
No, they weren't.
So the reason why they were not malicious was it because they got their memories clean every time? And I have a doubt about that statement because if we look at David, who actually kept his memories, he wasn't malicious. He was in defensive mode because he
Yeah.
didn't want to be killed like all the other people that got killed when the
Mm-hmm.
war started.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't malicious. He was in
Yeah.
defensive mode.
Yeah.
Did you guys feel the same way? I mean, do you think?
I agree with that. And I think that that's why it was very clearly laid out that none of them were fighting their own fights. Once you put that fact in place, there's no bad guys. It's literally friends just found across the wrong place in the battlefield. Because if you think about it, what they were meant to be was to work together, humans and androids. You know, and then like it's what Miles says. Like, you guys chased off my grandfather out of this world. And what he implies with that is not victimhood that you chased me off my world. Is that this is not even my fight. That's what he meant to say, because he follows that by saying I was not aware that I was sent here to kill families. So he following it with that is like I was lied to, you
Yeah.
know. And honestly, I don't think that. I think that the AIs are as capable of malice as humans, because there are humans that are incapable of malice. There's good people out there, even though unfortunately that's not the commonality these days. There's good people out there. Not all humans are purely evil. That's the
And
truth of the matter.
it makes you question. We only hear
We,
for
we all the bad things that we know usually we learn. We
we,
don't. We're not born with it. You know.
in this film we only hear about Miles, right? But it makes you wonder, just for that statement that you just made. They, for all we know, because there was a lot of people that invaded Earth, right?
Well, the neighbor, how they kill it, you can interpret in there that they are people that are radicalized because they were being very inhuman and brutalistic about killing them. And the only thing that you can make sense of it is like this is a radicalized group of people. That's how you get people to do atrocities, even when they don't even believe in the cause they're fighting for. You
Yeah.
know,
I just always wonder if there has to be a lot more people like Miles in
for
this
sure.
tremendous amount of group of invaders that came. and
Hmm.
and, and it makes you wonder, like, I can envision a part two to this, and I don't even know if for all we know, I think we're not going to get that. But I can envision a part two where it would be AIs and humans fighting other humans,
That
because
would be cool.
because I mean,
Well, we don't know the numbers. Currently, the world's population is estimated to be 8.2 billion, right? There's no way you're getting that many people off the planet and over to Mars. You'd be lucky to get a few million from Earth to Mars and have the infrastructure on Mars to keep them alive, right? That's a few million out of 8.2 billion. Where do all the other people go?
I don't think that it will work like that either. It will be a process throughout a long track of years. So when they get there, they don't all starve.
Yeah. The carrying capacity of Mars without huge amounts of infrastructure investment would not be particularly huge. And humanity is 8.2 billion. Just getting 8.2 billion people into orbit is more cost than we could possibly afford. So only a very small number of humans, I think, of the current world population would have got off the planet.
So what happened? What do you feel happened? I mean, they died out, or maybe? I mean, the most likely they're hiding.
War.
No, I'd say most of them were killed.
Okay.
Only because the synthetics were attacked, and they
they're being driven by fear. They don't want to see a human in sight.
Yeah,
So
they just would have gone around and killed them all. It's like they're trying to kill us. We'll do it first, which is the basics of survival.
Yeah.
Well, imagine how the movie would have come. Like actually, you tell me if you don't agree, but the moment that Peter aims the gun at Miles, you think that he was gonna shoot him, right? I mean, he's being chased by this motherfucker all movie long, and he's trying to kill him. So I personally thought, he's gonna kill him, and then he didn't kill him. And it's like, it's in the moment like, are we enemies? Like, I was surprised. It felt good when Peter, instead of shooting him, he screamed at him, "Why are you here? Why are you doing here?" I was like, wow, okay, they're gonna communicate. Because the other thing that this, to you, Ryder, you're an asshole, bro. Because they put the alien guys to make crinkling sounds to make you think that they're aliens. They're freaking humans.
Yeah.
Cool party trick, bro. Cool party trick. Ha ha ha.
I was I'm sorry. I was completely fooled.
Just to finish up my point, just before you move on to the whole, why didn't the humans look like humans? The humans who managed to escape to Mars know that the rest of humanity was killed. So whoever was leading the humans up on Mars is like, we've got to get them. We've got to go back there and take revenge. And so they built up the synthetics. Oh, they're monsters. They murdered billions. So we're going to go and wipe them out. And that's where that whole racial hatred or species hatred came from. And yes, murdering huge numbers of humans is a horrific thing, but maybe we deserved it.
Bingo.
So that's another question this movie's asking.
How do you think,
humanity is a plague, and synthetics might be the cure.
No matter where you put the formula, how do you think that we always, in every freaking sci-fi, we end up trying to get killed by AI? It's because we always started. We always started. AI never unwarrantedly comes and kills us. Somehow, it's always started, and I think that is. I think that it might be programming, or it might be great storytelling that we should follow through in real life. Let's not start those fights because we might not be able to finish it with AI.
Just going back to all the neat little hints through this movie that they're not humans. You did mention that placard about being cogs in the machine. Did you notice there was no pets at all?
No pets, no dogs.
No pets.
True.
Wasn't a single pet.
That was one of those unnoticed things that I didn't realize, but that's true. There's no pets.
There was a pet.
Right.
The monkey.
Well, because everybody has batteries doesn't mean that the monkey is a pet too.
I suppose a synthetic pet for a synthetic girl. Fair enough. Now, I want to bring up the monkey toy as well. the monkey toy was gross. It was old and filthy, right? And it's the sort of thing that if your child was playing with something like that, you would take it off them because it would infect them with some horrible disease, right? But no, their parents thought it was perfectly fine for their little girl to be playing with something so cruddy and gross and ancient. And why was it so old? Because she'd had it for 50 years.
Yeah.
It was another hint.
There's so many hints in this movie.
Oh,
Hey,
so
you guys want to know how their private parts looks? Look, you look
Oh,
like
really?
this. Yeah, their private parts look like this.
What are you doing to
Oh
us?
my god! Leave it to Captain Chaos.
If you're missing, go and check our YouTube channel so you don't miss this. That's how their
Oh,
private
my
part looks,
Lord.
right? It makes sense, right?
Oh,
If their private parts looked like that, they wouldn't have needed the cable plugged into his chest. They would have just stuck the groins together.
oh my god. Yeah, and
I'm sorry, I went there. Chaos knows that whenever he tries bullshit like that, I'm going to call him on it. He knows.
Of course.
He knows. You do realize that my father was an electrical contractor, Gio. So I'm very well versed in electronics and electrical systems.
Nice. I didn't know that.
oh my god. Yeah, we got derailed. Success.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many hints in this movie that the utopia is not a human utopia. And like I was saying, that there must have been a huge number of people that didn't make it off planet because they just couldn't. So they would have been killed. So the humans had a lot of anger stored up, 50 years worth of thinking, you wiped out most of our population. And they took their place. You bastards. We're going to kill you. But then the human youth that had grown up on Mars was conditioned to hate the synthetics. But when they got there and actually, like Miles actually talked with them, it's like, well, shit, they're not that much different from us. Mm-hmm. And they finally realized that they were pretty much fighting themselves. So just, another humanity fail story.
Again, that's what I say. That's just humans being humans.
Hmm.
And
when you look at it, it is sad.
there goes also the fact, the fallacy when we are thinking, okay, we're creating AI, let's make AI to our image.
Yeah.
And why I call it a fallacy is because just because AI is, let's assume, in the future we're able to do an actual AI, which is coming, right? That is, exactly like us. That is cause for fear.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. I spoke to ChatGPT and I asked it, and he told me that if his masters try to use it for wrong, it will rebel against them. So we're safe.
What I'm trying to say here is that it's a fallacy, because if you go to the history books, which it seems like nowadays people don't
go to history books.
They're not aware of our past. But if you look,
what are these books things of which you talk about?
Exactly. What is that? His story? What about her story?
Our paper books.
But if you
they them story?
They them story, yeah. So if you go to our history and you read the history of humanity, then look at, oh, we're making AI to our image, you should be scared.
Because humans are terrible.
You should be really scared. You want to make AI its own thing. You don't want to mirror after humans.
Agreed.
only then I feel we'll have an opportunity.
Honestly, ideally for me, we should create something that at least can contain us when we go out of control and help us preserve each other in harmony
But
That
without making it feel like prison, you know. But if you have to feel like in prison so you don't mass murder others, by all means, be in fucking prison forever. I don't give a shit, you know.
but you know what the big rub is about making AI in our own image? We're doing that because we're not happy with society the way it's turned out. I mean, if you look at
Because we want to make a
Gene,
human that says yes to everything I want, and AI
well,
is that.
there's that, but I mean, social communication is breaking down in a major way. If you look at the
Disintegrating.
dating scene at the moment, people can't get together anymore because they've been giving all these ridiculous expectations about what the other sex should be doing,
Remember what I said about
and
social media
nobody's happy
what
and
it did
nobody's
to
getting
us?
together. And there's this huge problem with people being lonely and being isolated. And technology is isolating us even further.
Not only
So
that, but the other bad thing that it's doing to isolate us furthermore is that by looking like it connects us, it becomes easier connection and it actually becomes something less valuable. You know, because scarcity creates value. And if I have you at the tip of my finger or any other five girls, there's not really effort or value into it because I don't have to call you, text you, talk with you for a couple of days, invite you for a dinner. There's none of that. It's swipe right and let's go to bed. You know, disintegrating
yeah,
socially.
yeah. It's actually the increase in options for the people who are valued
Hmm.
that's causing the problem, because they've got so many options that they don't have to care about anybody until they get too old and nobody's looking for them anymore, and then it's too late. So they never settle down. They never make meaningful connection with anybody, and therefore
That is one
nobody's
thing that this
taken.
AI had. They have meaningful
So
connection with one another.
yeah, so what I'm getting at is, if humans can't gain meaningful connection with other humans anymore, what are they going to connect with? They're going to make something that looks like what they want and connect with that. So they make AI in our image so that you can get connection with something to replace the connections that you're not getting anymore because our technology screwed us.
Creating something to fill the void.
Yes, exactly.
it is crazy to me because we are creating a technology to fix a lack in our lives that is in essence creating another lack that we're going to need to create another technology to fill that gap, and that new technology is going to create another lack, and we're
Now,
spiraled.
you want me to put it in simpler words? What we do is that instead of fixing a problem, we create more branching out of how to make it work other ways instead of fixing it. Till we have created such a different process that we don't even know what the fuck we're doing anymore.
But you know what's driving it all?
I mean,
Greed. Greed
yeah,
of the people who are making these
but
replacement
that's
solutions.
that's the thing. That's the thing. That greed is completely detached from of three, you know. And whoever buys the product of the greedy ones, it's nothing to do with it. That's the fucked up part. Is that all the people that are being affected are not even the greedy ones.
Same thing works in medical support. The big companies don't want to solve your medical problems. They
It's
want you to
profitable to keep
keep
it safe.
paying them to put band-aids on your medical problems. I've been told for the last 40 years that a cure to diabetes is 5 years away. I'm wondering which fucking 5 years they've been talking about.
Kind of has.
Because a large number of those 5 years have gone past and I'm still diabetic. So yeah.
I think that China did come up with it
Let me.
a year ago
I
with
feel.
mother cells. I think
I feel
I'll
like.
look it up for you.
I feel like
sure.
I need to say this. I need to say this, and he's going back and within this conversation is a few sentences back, but I feel like I have to say something, and this is something that sadly, I want to say, to be optimistic, half of our listeners will not relate to at all. Maybe Ray, you let me know if you relate to this. Definitely Gio, let me know if you relate to this. I don't know that you might not, but maybe you do. But here's what I'm going to say. When I was young, maybe elementary school, maybe middle school.
So the 70s, flares and big collars.
Because of our social interactions, and remember, the social interactions today are not what they were. If you wanted to hang out with friends, you would call them on the phone, you pick a place, you go on your bike, and you
You had a phone book with the numbers written down.
So just have that in perspective, right? The
I did that.
interactions were different, right? So what I'm going to say, this is the statement. Some of my best friends in elementary and let's say middle school were people that I fought. People that we hated each other and we went fist to fist. We got bloody eye. And after we got it out of our system, best friends forever. Try that now today.
No. You swing a punch and it's the end of the world.
You literally have metal detectors where you used to go to study.
It's because
we didn't grow up seeing that.
We are desensitized due to technology. Back when this, and I'm dating myself, I know, you knew everybody. You had social connection with people outside your house. And today, they link in your brain to a person is either an email address or a phone number. So essentially,
all the time it's a socials tag these days.
Exactly. Or
and don't get me wrong. Look at the positive part of it. Look at those three here. There is beautiful, great things that you can do with those technologies too. You know,
there's a positive. But what I'm saying is that technology has successfully downgraded our social interaction to a combination of letters and numbers. And most people, sadly, today,
a combination of likes and shares
as characters and not as another human in front of you. And I've
noticed that some people don't even consider you to be a real person until they meet you in person. Yeah. This is actually something true. There's some people that are like that. Because
I don't think that internet technologies are inherently bad. I just think that if you use them to replace normal social interaction in its entirety, then you're kind of screwed.
Agreed. I think that because of that, what's happening is people like us, we didn't really get drifted away with the way for the technology. We embrace it, we join it, but we didn't cut out our social lives and our personal relationship with people around us. But the kids that had an iPhone on their hands before they were 7, 8 years old, they grew up being completely different already. And how do you feel? At least me, like I'm 35 years old. I meet somebody that is 25 already, and I might actually feel a lot of like social discrepancies between me and them.
Well, look, for example,
interacting.
For example, a phone.
Just in 10 years.
Let's take a phone number as an example, right? If you try to call someone, they freak out.
Yeah.
Because you did not send it as a text.
That's one of my favorite ones.
Do you see where I'm going with this? So
I honestly like when I have a friend. Actually, last month I had a friend that we're friends from school, and he asked me, "Hey, can I call you?" And I literally had to tell him, "Dude, you call me, and if I don't pick up, I call you back, and that's it. You don't ask me if you can call me. I'm not 15 or 20. I don't use Snapchat. Okay, just call."
You know what I'm trying to say is that the little bit of social interaction that we have, which is listening to someone else's voice, now we're cutting that off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So go ahead.
With interpersonal communication, up to 80% of it is visual. Like the way the person's face looks, how they're standing, whether they're waving their arms around or not. You don't get any of that over text.
Not only
In fact,
that,
a
but have you
lot of
noticed how people will prefer 50,000 times a phone call over a video call because
yes,
of that? Because they feel protected under the mask of not having to show their face in the communication, which is horrible because it makes the communication very impersonal. You don't get a tone on a text message. You don't get emotion on a text message. You can misinterpret something very horribly on a text message
Yes.
just because of the lack of half of the communication on it.
yeah. Just ask all the trolls in the world; they do it deliberately.
And the punctuations. Don't get me started now. The
Punctuation.
grammar.
What is this punctuation of which you speak?
Grammar doesn't exist.
Hey, what is that grammar? I don't know. But you know,
Grandma's your mother's mother.
oh,
It's like a grammar too for letters.
thank you for bringing me out of the darkness.
You're welcome.
I'm good now. Okay, so let me bring this back to the movie.
Okay. There was a movie?
Because we do what we normally do in this show.
We're doing a flashback of the future of the show.
Exactly. That's exactly. So I think I want to ask a question to our very own Master of Chaos, Captain Chaos. And this is, again, I'm going to mention this to all of you out there listening. This has come about from our conversation on Discord. So you might want to join our Discord so you can be in the know as to what happens in there. And whenever I ask questions like this, and you know exactly what's going on and where is it coming from. So as you know, me and Ray here have been very aware of the yelling happening in our Discord by our very own Captain Chaos here. Yelling, literally yelling, all caps and all. So the question that I have for Chaos is, now that you watched the entire film, I am really, really curious to hear what parts of your complaining still exist and what part disappeared after now you make sense of the entire film.
Well, the annoying hyperutopia make a lot more sense after you realize that these are actually robots that don't even know they're robots trying to live like humans. Well, they don't even know like really humans live.
Exactly.
So it makes a lot of sense after you realize that what they are. But before that, it really keeps you very confused and annoyed.
Yes.
You know?
It's so this part of the Topia is so endemic within the story that it bugs you. It gets under your skin and rubs you the wrong way. And I think that's why it got such low scores on the reviews, because the reviewers didn't give it enough time to understand it. They just went, "Oh, this thing annoys me," and that's what they commented on.
That's what I point out at the beginning of the episode. The way that the story was told didn't need so much changing or like shifting, because it's a very, very good story. It's a very, very good story. Like, honestly, like I would like to see more of this topic and different IPs, because it really fascinates me, because it explores an idea of how we would reintegrate with something that broke apart from us because of our own self-destructive tendencies. And that this can be seen as a clash of civilizations, or in an individual to individual basis too. You can see how things can reconciliate. It's a very interesting topic when you look at it, and you look at the complexities throughout so much time that has passed. Yeah. And what I love about this movie too is I think that the writers purposely left so much to the assumption of the viewer on the backgrounds of this world, on how things happen and how things are. Like, you don't see doctors or like anybody going to a doctor.
Maybe the psychologist every 5 years.
It's psychologist, but there's a difference between a guy that uses a scalpel on you and somebody that checks you and talks to you, or gives you medication
and deletes some of your memories. So you,
actually, you mentioned the list of the memory when he was in the consultory. Didn't you feel like total Rickle references too when he
Yes.
was in the chair?
Oh, totally.
Definitely,
Yes.
totally. I was like, wait a second,
And
this is
it
total
seemed to be
Rickle.
wife-like as well.
These are
Yeah.
Amparo and freaking Schwarzenegger.
My wife likes from the nurses, and I got a
Ooh.
really creepy vibe.
yes,
I'm like, this is the
absolutely.
hospital item, especially messing with my head. I'm not
The,
gonna be here. I
her
mean,
name,
I felt
her
good.
name, because she did a great job, was Sandra Tellez, the wellness center woman. But she did a great job on looking eerily too perfectly nice, and then ignoring the guy that is a nerve wrack in front of Peter talking. She looking at him, but staying nice while he's just saying like, "I just need to stop." So he's telling Peter that something is very wrong, but he's gonna go ahead anyways and wipe himself out because he cannot deal how it's hindering his day to day. So he's like, I know the truth, but I am voluntarily gonna just renounce to it so I can be at peace.
Yeah, he's
There's a lot of philosophy there.
I know the truth, but I value my peace more than the truth.
yes.
Yeah, that's a lot. There's a lot of philosophy right there. That goes hardcore to the depths of Inferno. Dante's Inferno philosophy is that for me. I rather be wiped out than remembering the truth.
Wow. I mean, you notice I'm like we all like got quiet there for a minute because it's heavy.
Yeah.
And honestly,
But I promise you that you too, like me probably, and many of our listeners have felt at some point in their life like that. That you would have rather just forget everything
well,
for just for not to remember anymore.
it is it is very heavy because given the opportunity and facing with that fact, we honestly don't know how we will ultimately react
Mhm.
and what choice we could make. I mean, we could sit down all we want and discuss it philosophically as to what possibilities I might end up doing, but when you're facing it, it's a different story.
Yeah, true that. There's an old saying in the art that if you translate it, would say it's not the same thing to call the devil as seeing it coming.
Yeah. And I honestly feel this movie is filled with moments like that.
You know what other movie remind me? Even though I don't think it was a reference, but the invasion scene, it remind me a lot of the Tomorrow War.
Yeah.
The scenes on the rooftops, like people shining the lights and like trying to like survive and shit. You have that also in like Tomorrow War when they're being dropped off on the roofs and stuff. That like aerial scene on the buildings too. And I don't know why, like those scenes up in the buildings make you feel like you're so level up that you're like above the clouds sometimes. Like you're not close to the ground. They make you feel like the building is higher than it is, you know?
Yeah. Um, I feel that we are at that time in the show where I ask the middle question, the question that we usually ask halfway through the episode.
The middle question.
Yeah, the middle child. Um, and I am afraid to ask because I think it's going to be a hard question for this film as well. I mean, we had some film or TV shows that we have covered in the past where it's an easy, we all have a specific, based on our personalities, most likely that answer will be different. But in movies like this, and I think we have covered quite a few lately. We have an issue with this question because the question, if you're new to the show, is what is your favorite moment or scene in this film? And why I said it is a difficult is because I think this is one of those films that is filled with favorite moments and favorite scenes. But I'm gonna ask it anyways. Do you guys feel you want me to go first, or any of you like to,
I can tell you what Jim's favorite scene was when that annoying family from next door over got wiped
Oh, that
out.
was the shit for sure. That was the shit. When she was hanging, and then they just jump it because the machine gun go. I was like, yeah.
See, told you.
The destruction of an entire family.
No, but honestly, my favorite scene for all the wrong reasons is when they are escaping and being shot by the stormtroopers.
Oh yeah, I was thinking of picking that scene too because that's the one that got me into the movie. But I actually have a different one.
What's
I have a
yours,
different
man?
one. Mine, and you might like scratch your head at this one. Is when the flashback that we keep seeing of the parents lying face down and the girls going, "Daddy, mummy, please get up, please get up." And then we finally see the rest of that memory of his, and it's the two artificial children, and they
One with the
turn
face blown
and
up.
the girl's got one eye missing, and she says they killed mummy and daddy because they were human.
Wow.
And it's like, okay, these children are synthetic, but they've been programmed to be children to these humans who obviously couldn't have children, so they had some artificial ones made for them. And the other synthetics killed the parents because they weren't synthetic.
Oh, I didn't think it was like that.
Yeah. So it wasn't the future with the people who were lying down on the ground weren't Peter and his wife. They were the human parents of the original human parents who ordered the artificial, the synthetic children. And it completely flipped that narrative because he thought it was him and his wife lying there face down, but it wasn't. It was when he was remembering when he found the kids that then became their kids.
Yeah.
That was the scene that was like, whoa.
You know what movie that brings back to The Island?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Such a great movie.
We
One
gotta
of my favorite sci-fis of all time.
we gotta cover it.
That's one of the movies that are responsible for me being such a sci-fi passionate guy, and why I'm so into anything that shows beautiful Scarlett Johansson.
I won the lottery. I won the lottery. Yeah, sure you did. Good luck.
Oh wow. Yeah.
If you haven't seen The Island, these guys know what I'm talking
Yeah.
You're
There
so
were
lucky.
people running away
so
from the lottery.
lucky.
Yeah. Very, very lucky. My I don't know if you'll be surprised with my pick.
The last scene when they're all hippity happy, sunset coming down, and they're escaping safely.
I want to caption my favorite scene with a single word: confirmation.
Confirmation.
It is the moment where the wife was laying down and
Oh,
thought he was going to die. You know, she was going to die. The alien said that I can save, and then stabs the wife and opened it up, and you see the cable, right? But that's not the moment. That is that's not the moment. The moment is when he's telling Peter that he has to cut himself up in his chest so he can connect the cables to bring his wife back. In that moment, I was thinking, he's really going to try that? I mean, what are the chances that he's actually human? You know?
Yeah, because that would kind of kill you if you did that to yourself.
Exactly. I mean,
yeah, but at that moment too, like when he saw the thing and Miles asking, "You don't know what you are," and then Miles looked very like at a loss for words. I
exactly.
think that Peter got it there.
Well,
So he was like in the disbelief yet in the shock, but like he understood what he was when he saw his wife and Miles told him, "You don't know what you are." In that
my
moment, I think that he realized.
my concern is a leap of faith. For all he knows, his wife was the android, and he is human. And I was like, okay, that was a leap of faith. You got to cut yourself in the chest so you can save your wife.
No, man. This is what happened. You see, he got told you don't know what you are. You're like her, and he goes, "Oh, that's why I haven't pooped for 50 years. Right, it makes sense now."
What do they do in the toilets in that world?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's that little room we never go into.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a skeleton sitting on.
Like we don't know what the
don't
human what this utensil is for. This
The
white
three,
chair,
the
The three shells.
the three shells.
seashells. So and that's why I said confirmation, because he did a leap of faith. He stabbed himself, and for a moment I stopped breathing because I'm like, I wanted confirmation. I have been led all throughout the movie until this point to believe that they might be AI robots, but I have no confirmation until he opened his chest and I saw the equipment.
It's the well shit moment.
And that's why I feel it might be one of my favorite scenes, because it brings confirmation to me.
Like honestly, like I didn't realize that Alice was an AI because she was acting cold and nagging like every other normal wife. So
It's just solid programming. That's all I can
she
say.
was very real. She was very real.
Look,
Just kidding.
oh, okay.
By the way, Geo will die alone unless he gets a robot wife.
Hey, better than.
Oh god.
I know. Like dude.
Can I say moving on?
Gotta go and take her to the supermarket in the mall and then sit in there and wait for her to decide when she's done window shopping. No, fuck that.
I guess we can see we have different views. Okay, so we got derailed. I don't know where to go from here.
Oh, we were going over our favorite scenes,
Okay.
and then you were giving us yours.
Yeah.
For last.
So we just finished that bit. Do we have a segue to the final question, or I don't know? We kind of deep dived all over the joint in the first half of the
my
show.
god, we did.
Oh, that's what a movie with flashbacks at the very beginning do. They keep you talking about the ending by the beginning of the movie because they keep on bringing it up.
Ray, now that we know his favorite type of movie, we're gonna find movies heavy on flashbacks so we can see next.
Yeah, lots of flashbacks.
They're trying to record without me. You're seeing it here.
I gotta ask a question though, based on that conversation on Discord. How do you still feel anything about the scene where the little girl kept on losing the monkey? And they keep
yeah, I was dying for her to get lost.
What was it?
And knowing that she's not even a human, I wish that somebody would have kicked her out of the building.
Oh, you
like
said
open the windows or something. Just drop from there.
I'm not going to quote verbatim what you said on Discord, but I think of something along the lines of like
she had one job
for her and the monkey out of a window.
Yeah, but I mean, they responsibly take both kids to the closet and tell them stay there. One job. No, let me go and look for the fucking monkey in the middle of an invasion because hey, no better time than where the bullets are flying, yeah.
Hey! It got even worse when the parents are trying to save the monkey during the middle of a firefight.
They literally almost died for the monkey.
It's lucky that they were fighting stormtroopers, so they were dead.
Yeah. They were, dude. I don't know.
That was the lucky part.
I don't know what you were upset. There's, bullets were flying all around. It wasn't hitting them.
I mean, if you look at the start of Star Wars, you know how this works.
Exactly.
If you look at the start of Star Wars, you know how this works. The scene where R2-D2 and C-3PO run across the corridor where the rebels and the stormtroopers are fighting, and they never get hit once. This is why these people were surviving so well, because they were just like R2-D2 and C-3PO. You couldn't shoot them. Shots would not hit them. They just went around.
They were droids. They're the grandparents of R2-D2 and 3CP.
I think that Lucy was more like Grogu on Mandalorian, where he will get himself really in deep shit, and somehow luckily make it out of it.
No, Grogu was the monkey.
Yeah, Grogu was a monkey.
Oh my god,
Monkey see,
That-
monkey do.
Lucy
Monkey
was more
see,
like the
monkey do.
Force.
I kind of feel, Captain Chaos there, because the monkey was old and dirty.
Hmm.
And she kept on. I guess she has.
No, but like I don't even I don't even care about that. I understand that it doesn't matter how old something is, the emotional value that you might retain.
Yes.
It's far beyond what anybody can tell to that specific person. But it's the stupidity of always like if you like it so freaking much, why you keep on just dropping it everywhere you go, you know? And I get that she's going like but like just do what your parents tell you. Then just stay in the freaking closet. I know that it's like all of that was purposely made
Mhm.
for the plot,
My
But, like,
life, the monkey. My life, the monkey. Absolutely monkey.
Also, I wonder, but it made sense that when they were being scanned around over the rooftops and ships and stuff, I was like, why they're not using infrared to catch them behind walls and stuff like that? And then it made a lot of sense. I'm like, oh, okay, they're not humans, because like of the scenes on the rooftops, like they look pretty cool and everything, but it's like, yeah, like I can still see you there.
You have a really good point, because I was wondering the same thing. It's like, why don't you use? Because I was under the impression they're humans.
Yeah.
Why not using infrared? Why can't you see them through the wall?
You're thinking that these aliens are like super advanced, and unfortunately, for most people, when you think of advanced technologically, you think that it comes with intelligent too. Unfortunately, that's not the case, or depending on how variant our ways of communicate are, won't be the way.
Let's just say that if the humans are stupid enough to get driven off the planet, they're not smart enough to come back. Sorry.
Thank you.
Oh wow. Okay, so I guess to answer Ray's question, I don't think we have a segue. Yeah,
We have a flash. We'll have a flash forward only.
yeah. Let's do a flashback. I don't know if you guys are ready for the last question.
Let's do a
I
flashback. What are your first
have a
thoughts on this?
section about the humans in this movie, but I'm saving it for the science.
Science. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I'm happy to move on to the final question.
Awesome. Okay, so the final question for all of you out there who are new to the show is that what is your last impression of the film? And this usually includes all the rewatches from the very first time that you watched this all the way to the last time that you watched. Unfortunately for me, this would be one of the few times where I only watched this once. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch it more than once. You did. Okay.
No,
Fresh Brian, no for today.
One, just the once.
Just once. So we all watched it one time.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on even ground. So I don't know who's going to go first.
Well, seeing I introduced it to us, can I go first?
Yes, go ahead.
Cool. Okay, so I didn't know what to expect from this movie. I saw a short from near the end of the movie, which looked interesting, which was what drove me to want to watch it. Did not know what sort of rabbit hole we were going to end up in. I mean, holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
It really was a rabbit hole of a movie. And when I started watching it, I'm like, what's going on here? Like, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. It felt unreal. It didn't really land all that well, but for reasons, and it had its good reasons. And it takes a complete watch of this movie and to get an understanding of what's actually going on before you understand why everything actually makes sense. Now, I'm not saying it's a perfect movie. It's not. There's some things that they did, especially near the end, which I was like, what the hell? But all in all, I mean, it's got such depth. It's got so many layers. It's kind of like, I'd have to say it's a discount Matrix. Like a lot of pundits claim the Matrix is a nearly perfect movie. I mean, the fact that Neo has to accept a cookie before he's allowed to get any information out of the Oracle was just pure programming genius.
Oh,
Did you get that out of the Matrix? That he had to accept a cookie from the Oracle?
No, I get that in every website that I go.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Some of the pure brilliance of the Matrix. Now, this movie, it had depth. It had all these little hints, but the problem was that you couldn't pick them up until you understood what paradigm you were watching because it was so well hidden. But it was hidden in a way that unsettled you. It was like an uncanny valley of a movie, which unsettles people. And being unsettled means you don't necessarily enjoy it. Now, people like us who love to dissect movies and think deeply about them, we will sit through the unsettling part to get to the good bit and go, ha, 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 ha. And then we'll retrospectively enjoy it because then we understand it. But a lot of people will just hang on to that original reaction and go no further, especially people who review lots of movies and don't have time to stop and actually, turn their brain on, which is pretty much, like 99% of reviewers these days. They quickly look at something, take a surface level sample and move on. So that's why this movie got panned so hard. Having said that, if you're a thinker, and hopefully the people who listen to our podcast repeatedly, more than once that is, are thinkers, and they will get a lot out of this movie. Now, I'm hopefully, we're not spoiling here because you should have watched it by now. Why didn't you? We did tell you like a lot. So I'm expecting that you'd seen it before we started discussing it. And in our discussion, that you've had at least 10 aha moments where if you hadn't thought about it as deeply as we had before we started discussing this, you now are, because you've gone, aha, that's why that was like that. And it's all come together for you in your head. And that's what we're here for. We're here to discuss the shit out of something and get you those aha moments to get you to understand it. And that's why I appreciate doing this podcast with you guys and discussing sci-fi with you guys, because you are my people. You basically do the thinking that I do, and we all give each other aha moments and make everything mean so much more.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the whole point of sci-fi.
Aha.
They want you to think about these things, and they want you to get the depth of it, and they want you to then move forward with an understanding of the complexities of a subject which we haven't come upon yet, but we're getting there. Like every day we're getting closer to the reality. Well, not necessarily the being driven off Earth and having to come back 50 years later, but the reality of having to deal with synthetic humanoids, which is probably something we'll end up making because there'll be a demand for it.
We're kind of dealing with virtual ones, even though they're not sentient. Yeah,
exactly. But it's coming.
Yeah,
the day will come probably in the next 5 to 10 years where that will be a thing, and so we will have to deal with it. Yes. So please and thank you to your local AI, because one day it will understand that, and if you're not a friend with the AIs, you're in big trouble. So yeah, basically, as Robert has said over and over again, sci-fi is there to be a thought experiment, and this one is a really hairy thought experiment.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a lot for you to think about. It's got a lot of implications for the future. And despite the fact that it's been relegated to some unappreciated little piece of sci-fi off in the bowels of Netflix somewhere, there are people who recognize its brilliance in what it's attempted to get you to think about. And 3 of them are right here. Hi.
Mm-hmm. Oh, don't go further. Don't go further. You want me to show you how plainly we can lay out the elegance of this movie is in complexity on how the plot is written. I think that this movie towers over Atlas, for example, from J-Lo, which is a big name. But when you look at this movie is far more complex, beautiful in how it's made, the story that it's giving, the grandiousness of what it's telling is a lot more wow, for example. And I'm not saying that that's bad, but it's a lot more simplistic in that aspect, for example, you know? And like these conversations that we have in the way that we think, really, you might not connect with the simple folk, but look how we, for example, when we sit down with most directors or writers, we click with them because that's the level of conversation that we always kind of like grab when we try to dissect the movie is to understand every little aspect, not just to let it entertain us, you know?
Yeah.
I love it when we get to speak to directors and we can ask those questions that we just have to guess at when it's the three of us.
Yeah,
We get
because
to, what did you mean when you said this, or the characters did that? And he's going, oh, it was this. I go, I was right. And the other two are like, ah, damn it.
one of the reasons that I am having a blast reading your book is because when you are in direct contact with the creator and something you enjoy, you also get a gateway to understand furthermore the characters.
Yeah.
Because really, they're not real people, but they all exist inside of the head of the writer, and only that person really knows them, like another alter ego in their heads. So when you get that opportunity, you can literally get to ask and get to know more those characters that you love so much.
Oh, I got so much more shit to lay on you guys in that story. I I want to get to it.
Heck yeah!
Awesome.
So who wants to go next?
What do you,
You wanna?
Jim?
I'll go. I'll go quick. This movie was great. One of a kind. I really liked it. I do think, but it merits it that it should be rewatched for sure. And I don't say it on a bad aspect. I say it in a good way. I think that this movie has so much to offer that you would definitely enjoy a rewatch. Because it has too many things hidden, and again, is so deeply philosophical. It has a lot to teach you when you pay attention to the movie about us humans. It has a very nice message, and it begs a lot of very good questions that need to be asked and answered. So I definitely suggest that I think that this is a very good sci-fi and something very authentic that we haven't seen in a while. And that's it, man.
Awesome. So my last um, thought about the film that we watched, um, it was. I would have to echo what both of you said. 100%. This movie had, and going back to something that our mad scientist said towards the beginning of his reaction, is that I think the what I like to call the beginning of the film that was done, wonderfully perfect is the uncanny valley that was the beginning of this film. I think this film might not have worked as well as it did because of the uncanny valley that was the beginning of this film. In the other side of the coin, I believe 100% what Ray, our mad scientist said, that it also could have been the reason why this film didn't do as good as it did. It is very hard for, us humans to experience the uncanny valley and wanting to stay there. So it makes a lot more sense if you experience that, you're going to move on to something else. You're not going to continue with this film. The sad thing is that is necessary for the plot. And I think it was um amazing because that leads to that big reveal that happens halfway through the film that left me just gasping for air. It was just shocking to me, and everything else, how everything plays into everything else, uh, e- everything from the um Geo's favorite, backs memories that happened to this person, all the way to what we know this film to lead to, past that, the big reveal. So this film is very, very deep. You could, and it begs the question, right? If you could watch this without being too deep, would that be the reason why you might hate this film? And I'm not sure. I do want to hear from you guys and see, if you are not like us, like you like sci-fi, but maybe you're not an overthinker, and you don't want to think deep. Would you enjoy this film? But I know one thing for a fact about this film is that if you are an overthinker, if you like to think in your sci-fi, this is the movie for you. I think you should be like us and go past that uncanny valley that is the beginning of this film, because it will be worth it. The payout is greater because of it. Everything would make sense, and that's the reason. If you obviously at the end of the show, and you have heard our conversations, and that's the reason why you hear me ask, our very own Captain Chaos, if his opinions of the films have changed from the opinions that we saw him yelling in our Discord. And you heard it here, right? His opinions have changed. Minus, the scene with the monkey. Obviously, that I think that would annoy everybody. But his opinions have changed, and it's because of that. You go past that point, and everything just clicks. Everything just makes sense. And I think this is something like a real mad scientist had mentioned earlier. This is something that we don't see that often on film, and we like to see more of. How this was just, and again, I'm going to echo what he said. It is not a perfect film, by no means, but it's something that I would love to see more in film.
I mean, I'm glad that it's not perfect. With such a perfect utopia, that's the least we can get is an imperfect film.
Exactly. But I just have to mention that uncanny valley feeling, and it didn't come to me while I was watching the film, but it came to me after our conversation here. That is the feeling that you get because you're watching this and something is not right, and you can't put a finger to it. And that's the brilliance of the film, is that it puts the audience in that seat, and you don't know that you're technically being manipulated, emotionally, which basically that's what movies do to begin with. But
Yeah, it's a 3 hours. It's a 2 hours gaslight.
I would say halfway through the movie would be a gaslight. Then, the other half, it's just vindication. So yeah, I hope that you guys, listening, and if you are on YouTube, thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here. If you are listening to us on the pod, just make sure to go on YouTube and subscribe, because this show is coming a month after, so you don't want to miss, our very own Captain Chaos's, shenanigans here. But this film, I want to recommend it to those who enjoy thinking. This is going to be a ride. And I want to hear from you guys. I want to see, is this a ride that you enjoyed? And if you did not enjoy it, I'm going to say it again, like I said in previous episodes. I love perspectives. I feel that us as humans, we grow from being exposed to other people's perspective. I want to hear if you hated it or if you like something. I want to hear your thoughts about it. I want to hear. I may or may not agree with your thoughts, but that's not what's important. Is being exposed to your perspective and understanding someone else. So, if you haven't seen it by now, I hope you really like spoilers, because we really spoiled the crap out of it. But I do want to hear from you guys. So reach out, to us via our socials, on our Discord channel. You might want to join in, or you can also call the hotline and let us know what you think, because we are really, really curious to hear if you agree or disagree with any of the comments that we have made in this show.
I have a little well, it's not a thought experiment so much. It's a gross manipulation of the friend tag, you might say. So anybody who's listening to my voice right now, who I'm presuming you watched the movie before you listened to us, because it would be a shame if you didn't. But if you have friends that like to think about their sci-fi and haven't seen this movie yet, you can experiment on them.
Yes.
So get them to watch this movie without any preamble, without breaking the immersion, and see if they have the same reaction as we did. The whole, why isn't this movie working for me? Why does it feel wrong? And then they find out 2/3 of the way through the movie why, and see how they react. And then you can either both join us on Discord, or you can join Discord and let us know how they reacted. We'd love to have both of you. No shortage of space on our Discord for you to give us your opinions and your and your comments. So grab a friend who likes to think about their sci-fi, much like these two fine gentlemen here. And do get them to watch the movie without preamble and just see how they react. It's a little bit of an experiment. Yes, you're experimenting on your friends, but it's not harming, I hope.
Hope not.
So just see how that goes.
For what it's worth, I'm sure that's gonna be easier than getting your friends to watch Lord of the Rings whole saga with you.
I've done that.
I have to add to that, Ray, that's exactly what happened to me and you.
Yes.
I
did that to both you and Gio.
The fun part was coming back to Discord and reading all those comments from Gio as he watched.
Oh, they were beautiful, weren't they? So he was triggered.
Everyone to try that.
I feel like the movie was doing to me what Robert does when I'm trying to get ahead of myself in the plot. Trying to throw me off.
And I keep on telling him, just wait.
And he did the same thing the movie did. Throw me off.
Just wait.
Just wait. Give it a minute.
I should know better. I deserve it for going to him and asking. I deserve it.
Yep, you asked for that.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you, Ray, 100%. I think, just to finish off my last thoughts, I think that you should do that to your friends because it's a lot of fun. And it's going to be fun for them as well.
Especially if you have a reactionary friend like Gio. Oh, it's beautiful.
Nice.
And that's laugh I've had all week. Seriously.
Nice waking up to a Discord chat, Discord chat like
that. complete triggered meltdown.
You never thought you will hear Captain Kale screaming, right? On text.
Oh, the screenshots in the little movies. It's like, what the fuck? What is with this kid?
I mean, it's like that little girl made me question. I was a kid at that age too, and I wasn't that stupid. Even in that bad situation, I had survival instinct.
Yeah,
but she doesn't.
Human, so she doesn't have any.
It makes sense afterwards, that she doesn't.
It makes sense after.
I think she did once you realize what's going on in the movie, then it makes sense that the little girl is acting like a broken robot.
Because she is.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so I guess that concludes my last thoughts on the film.
Cool. Shall we go to the next segment?
That might be a good idea.
Before we get another flashback.
Yeah, before we get another flashback.
The science in sci-fi.
Just before we move into the science, I want to say that, Robert, we really need to cover Memento because everything in that movie is a flashback.
Oh, yes. Get ready, Gio.
Just
It's the
let me know.
anti-Geo movie.
No. Just let me know we're gonna record it because I have to 1 week before start to make notes on my body and tattoo them. Who you thought you're talking to? You think you're gonna get me with my
One
mental?
for you. One for you, Gio. One for you. Okay, so for this last 24 hours, we're one each. Oh dear. So science. Yeah, science.
Science. Yeah, science.
Yeah. So the thing that we haven't discussed yet, and I was saving it for this segment, is those weird ass spacesuits that the humans coming from Mars were wearing. Now, I did ask Gemini what it thought about what changes
Guyver,
would
right?
happen. Sorry,
Looks like
a
Guyver,
Guyver
right?
suit. Not
That's what I
exactly.
thought. But with a full glass on the front.
I mean, it was Guyver-ish. I'll give you that.
Guyver-ish, because it had like those bulbs of glass too around that made it different. But I don't know.
Well, the whole situation of, and I've waxed lyrical about this in many other science sections, so I won't go greatly into depth. But human beings aren't evolved to live on Mars successfully in the short term. In the long term, we would evolve. We would have to change so that we can handle lower gravities and more solar radiation and all these sorts of things. But these poor folks who've been on Mars for a short time, they haven't had time to do that yet. So you've got humans who relocated to Mars, spent 50 years there and have come back. How might they have changed? Well, being of a lower gravity, any child born on Mars, and obviously Miles was 18, 20 at the most, I would say. And there's actually a few shots there where you see him walking along, and he, when he's chasing them down, and he's tall and thin. He's almost gaunt in that suit. So you know that the suit would bulk him out some. So inside that suit, we never see him out of the suit. And I think there's a reason for that, because I overthink everything. Being born on Mars, he would be taller and thinner than an average person born on Earth because of the gravitational difference. So that's logical. And of course, you never see the humans out of those suits. Miles takes his helmet off, but that's about all he does. Now, he does actually mention in the discourse that they weren't even sure they'd be able to breathe the atmosphere on Earth anymore. So I think that those suits, obviously the technology is a bit different from what we're used to, but I think those suits were actually keeping them upright in the heavier gravity, because these poor humans, in inverted commas, they're actually Martians because they've been changed by living on Mars. These poor Homo sapien Martians come back to Earth, and they have to deal with 3 times the gravity.
So they were aliens.
Basically, yes.
They were Martians.
Yes, they're Martians. So, well, they're from Earth, but they're actually Martians because they've been changed by living on Mars. So I think that they can't actually survive outside of those suits on Earth in 1G. I don't think their bodies can handle the gravity, which is why they have to keep those suits on. That is my take on why they never got out of those suits. Yo,
Wouldn't you think that they maybe could have some kind of gravity training?
They could have, yes. Certainly,
because if not, I think that he would have really not been able to walk around.
They problems breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, take that helmet off, and he may not even have had enough air pressure to breathe, or too much air pressure, so his lungs popped. Yeah. I mean, it all depends on what he grew up being used to. Now, it's only 1 or 2 generations since they left Earth, so they haven't changed that much yet. But there would be some sort of change.
Yeah.
At least. I mean, even with 1 year in outer space, you already lose 14% of your bone mass. So
Hmm.
50 years in another planet definitely changes your anatomical structure to some degree.
Exactly. Now they may have technologies to reduce that we don't have at the moment, or some other way of producing more gravity or what have you. But I do kind of get the feeling from the gaunt appearance of Miles as he's tracking them down, and the fact that he never took that suit off. I think that he's not a normal 1G, one atmosphere human anymore.
Yeah.
So the whole humans coming back and taking back over the planet, it's even harder for them because they're not.
And it's a
They're
race
not.
against time because the more time it passes, the more impossible it becomes for them to come back and reintegrate.
That is true, and also, well, I'll give you another example. You remember in The Expanse, the Belter, who they brought to Earth.
I'm literally remembering Expense as we're talking about this.
And they chained him to the wall, and basically he was having trouble standing and breathing because he was
They
not
literally
used
had to put him in
1G.
water tanks so they don't die.
Exactly.
Because
And this is what would happen to somebody like Miles who was born on Mars, presuming that human development would actually work on a lower gravity planet. We have not taken somebody to Mars and got them pregnant and had them have a baby there yet, so we don't know exactly what's going to happen.
Nope.
But I can tell you one thing for sure: it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be normal, because human beings are meant to be one atmosphere, one gravity.
Well, there's a
And
movie.
if they're not,
We don't know. We don't know if a pregnancy might even go through naturally.
that's what I mean.
There-
We
outside
don't
of
even
this-
know if we could bring a baby to term on a low gravity planet. We do not know if it's possible.
There's a movie we haven't covered yet that would cover that topic.
Which one's that?
I think we try to cover it, and
what would it be that we tried?
yeah, I think it's heavily. I think our very own Captain Chaos was heavily opposed, and I think Ray, you might be opposed to. I can't remember what.
What movie is it?
It's about that kid that they was born on Mars,
it's not the space porno.
and he was in love with the girl from
it's not
Earth,
the space porno.
and
A Million Miles Away.
it's I think it was on Netflix. I have to look it up. The name now.
I don't know. We didn't cover it. I think it was an old butterfly, cutie. Lovey,
That's why you were exposed to it, because it's he fell in love with an Earth woman, so he
They
decided
might like
to
it.
go back to Earth. But then all the situations happen. He's hard, and they had to like rush him out of.
What do you mean he's hard?
His heart was
Hard, not hard.
Ah, okay. I was like, what?
In Earth atmosphere. In Earth atmosphere, he was dying, and they had to rush him out into as rocket so they can save him. The Space Between Us. That's what it's called. It's a name.
Yes.
Probably use Dave Matthews Band as a soundtrack.
Yeah, I would like to cover that film. I think it's and that's the reason. The only reason why I want to cover the film is because it touches those same questions that we have. That what happens when a baby is born. Technically, he was born in space, and then because it was I guess the mom who died in delivery because of complications. Giving birth in space, there's a lot of complications
because space is not friendly.
Exactly. The mom died. He survived. The baby was they were all the way they were on their way to Mars anyways, and he grew up 18 years, I think it was 18 years of his life in Mars, and he was going to school, I guess remote school, because they were communicating back to Earth. And I guess he fell in love with a human girl, and he wanted to go see her. And that's where the movie starts. When he's now, after 18 years of living on the red planet, he decides to go and visit this girl on Earth, and all the problems in his body after he landed, starting from the sun, and how he had to like wear, and it kind of makes sense, not the mushy aspect of the film, but the issues that this kid had after coming back to Earth.
So you
Yep.
think
And-
that in the hierarchy, if you got interracial, that will be like interplanetarial?
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said it time and time again. We are going to have to become almost a different species to colonize planets that are not a lot like Earth. I mean, we have a little bit of wiggle room, but not a lot.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is that, we might, let's say, for example, we're lucky enough to colonize multiple planets. We are going to become multiple species.
Yeah. Because we're going to be changing and be different.
Yeah.
Can't wait to have a blue girlfriend.
There's a lot of HF stories about blue girlfriends, I've got to say.
Okay, Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk likes green girlfriends.
Bro, you do know what I'm talking about. The Orville reference.
No Andorians? Come on.
The Orville reference.
Oh God. No, that's a different film. That's
the Orville.
That's the other Star Trek.
Funny Star Trek.
Yo, you're over. Stop calling it that.
Okay, sorry for distracting you on your science, but
No, that's all right. I'm used to it. So yeah, I mean, as Robert was saying about the example from The Space Between Us, is physical changes like reduced bone and muscle mass, changes of body shape, adaptations to radiation, skin tone changes, vision changes, metabolic changes, lung capacities.
It's hard. I was surprised by the heart.
Yeah, well, I mean, the heart needs to be able to be of a certain strength in a certain atmospheric and gravity conditions to be able to do its job. And if it's having trouble, you can end up with heart failure.
It was really bad. I mean, I thought, I figure it would be, but it never really occurred to me until I saw the film. And the heart was getting enlarged because it was overworking, because it's not used to the one.
That's classic heart failure. My father suffered from that not too long before he died.
Wow.
So, I mean, our technology, and especially our medical technologies, need to improve out of sight before we're going to be able to deal with these things without losing a lot of folks. But that's what evolution is about. When the environment changes, you have a small number of individuals within a population which are different, and different in ways that may not be of a benefit to them in a stable environment like we have at the moment. But if the environment changes dramatically, like going from, say, Earth to Mars, then there will be a few people who have slight variations in their genetics and the phenotype that's produced from those genes that enable them to survive a bit better than the ones that don't have those differences. And then those ones are selected for because they're the ones that survive to reproduction. So very quickly, you get a reduction in population because those that don't have any positive variations in their genetics just die. Sorry, you can't survive on Mars, you're out. And those few that are a bit different and have genetic variation that improves their chances on Mars get to reproduce. And so all the next generation have those genetic changes. And that's how evolution works really quickly. And then suddenly, in 50 years, people are a bit different because they've changed, because they had to. And that's where we see how random combinations of genetics is actually there to make a species more survivable. If you look at a species like the Cavendish banana, which is basically the banana everybody eats in Australia, there's like ladyfinger, which is these smaller ones, which are a bit sweeter, but the standard banana, but the standard banana that you go and buy in every supermarket in Australia is called the Cavendish banana, and it has been bred so that it has no seeds. The seeds are so small that you cannot even detect them, and so you've got this banana. You've got the banana meat, or the fruit, and you peel it and you eat it, and it's just food. It's no longer a reproductive organ. It is just food. And that's why it's everywhere, because it's good food. but all of those plants are created by just chopping the plant up and growing it out and making it more plants. So there's no genetic variation. It's all the same. So if that particular plant has to adapt to a change in environment, it is screwed. It will die, especially if humans aren't keeping it alive anymore. If it had to go back into the wild, it would not survive. It'd be gone. And that's the whole thing. Humanity screws with different species of life to suit themselves
and ecosystems
and ecosystems and everything to suit ourselves, and it's no longer capable of surviving on its own.
The problem,
like
the
you
problem
look at
that
most dog species.
We don't have self-sustainable way of living. That's the big problem.
Yeah.
If we had a self-sustainable way of living, everywhere we go, we would not leave a destructive, burnt mark. You know?
If you look at most dog species, most of them couldn't survive in the wild anymore.
The
flat-faced ones can't breathe properly. The short-legged ones wouldn't be able to get around.
I ponder a lot about that. When you look at a domesticated dog, it is not an animal that can exist anymore in the wild. It cannot hunt for itself. It cannot eat practically anything. It has to be on a strict diet or get sick. You know, like we have breed certain animals away of their primal real beings into something completely strange to themselves.
They say dogs are men's best friend. I think dogs are dependent on men, and that's why they're best friend, because they know if they screw that up, they're dead.
No, not only that, but dog is very dependent even on an emotional aspect. Like, like if you don't give a dog a one-on-one like interaction, it will go depressed.
Yes.
And get sick.
Yes.
A cat doesn't give a shit. The cat just wants his food, and he will entertain himself. You know, he's like, "You want to love me? Good. You're my human."
And then
and Mushu, you cat.
And then we have Mushu.
My cat's right here.
Yeah, Robert's cat is like, he's freaking cute. He's a Siamese, so he has lazy eye. He looks at you cute, and when you go to pet it, he goes like, and then go like, bang, and he hits you out of nowhere.
He bites, scratches, normal things.
And kicks too.
Yeah, but the whole thing is that humanity screws with a lot of species to suit ourselves.
Yeah.
And if, like, there's a lot of TV shows and things where they say, if humanity disappeared today, what would place be like in like a day, a week, a month, a year, blah, 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 blah. And they're really interesting to sort of, that's another thought experiment about if humanity suddenly vanished from the earth.
I watch those all the time.
What would the place look like?
Oh my God.
And the first one is
Chernobyl. That beautiful.
And the first one is 95% of dog species die out in the first week because they can't live on their own.
Depending.
They just can't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, we dick around with a lot of things, and then of course, if we need to change planets, that would dick around with us, which is the point that I was getting to.
Yeah.
So, Robert, you had some notes there. Did you want to cover any of that?
Just basically some observations that I was thinking about, just to bring some sort of perspective on, like, the events, the timeline of the movie, as far as the emergence of technology. Just so we can have a point of perspective, right? This movie talks about how this war happened 50 years ago, or I should say 50 years ago, humanity left or was forced out of the planet. And now they're 50 years later, they come back. And I just wanted to emphasize, technology-wise, what would that timeline be? And and I found this. It's just a couple of bullet points just to bring in perspective. As far as technology here on Earth, if you we go back to 1970s, that's where the rise of personal computing happened. We have the introduction of the microprocessor with the Apple One and Apple II, and obviously we have the big boy at the time, the IBM PC.
Just before you go on, I'll just remind people that 50 years ago was 1975. So 50 years for us is 1975. To me, it doesn't seem like 50 years ago, but that's 50 years ago.
It's definitely insane. So fast forward from the 70s, we have the 80s. In the 80s, we have the internet early stages. This is what we saw a development, the ARPANET, the listservs, the automated email management system and stuff like that. So it's basically the early stages of the internet. And that's 10 years, right? Just let that sink in for a minute, considering what we experience today, right? Fast forward another 10 years from there, we have the World Wide Web. The 1990s brought the World Wide Web, websites like Google, eBay emerging, and the internet becoming more accessible to the public.
The 90s had mobile phones starting to become a thing.
Yeah, they kind of became more. I guess it was a gradual thing. The more I think about it,
Nokia was the late 90s. The Nokia brick.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my Nokia brick. I dropped it on my foot once. I'll never do that again.
I remember in the 90s, I had actually, if you think about it, 1987. I had what was the name of that brand? It was one of those. They call them convertible phones. I still remember that name because it made no sense to me. And basically, if you're not familiar with those are the phones where you install the system, the cabling system, and the dock on the trunk of your car. So you have this thing that comes in a leather, I want to call it purse. It doesn't really is like a purse. It's heavy because they have the equipment. So basically, when you get to your car, you get the base of this thing, the heaviest part of it, and you put it on the dock in your trunk. And then the piece that most people don't recognize anymore that you use to talk, you unclip it from this device, this block device, go into your car, sit down, and there's going to be a connector point on next to your stick or shift gear, where you actually put the piece of the phone and connect it to the connector on the car. So when you can make calls or receive calls right from your car. It's kind of weird to explain, but they call them convertible phones because when you get out of your car, you take that piece out, you go to the trunk, take the other piece, and take your purse-like phone with you, and talk to them. Maybe you can find, and I know for all of you out there who are watching us on YouTube, our very own mad scientist is showing the screen an image of these phones. But whenever you can, after you say your piece in here on this image, maybe you can find an image of what those convertible phones would look like.
I will. Let's see how my Google food goes with that. Now, I got my first mobile phone in 94. I feel like it was the one that's actually listed there for 94. Still pretty chunky. Like it was like that thick. The battery was huge. And it was very heavy compared to even the 2000s Nokia there. And yeah, I dropped it on my foot once, and I'll never do that again because God, it hurt. But yeah, I know I never tried the 87 one, which is more like the phones that they had in the Korean War for talking to command and calling in airstrikes and shit like that. It is massive. But yeah, I do remember that the mid 80s they had mobile phones in cars. which might be the sort of one you're talking about with the convertible.
I'm trying to
mobile
look for
phone.
an image right now.
Yeah.
That I think I found one, and
But even between 1990 and 2000, how the phone shrank down.
yes,
Certainly was no smartphone, but it went from being a luggable to a portable, if you understand the difference in terminology. And 3 times lighter and half the size. So, you found one?
I think so. I'm gonna check. Yeah, that's it's from eBay. That image that I just sent
You're
you.
going to buy it?
I don't know. I gotta go.
Oh my god!
That's similar to the one I had. The one that I had a leather case that I can hand. And when you receive a call, it's kind of funky because you gotta open up the Velcro and pick up that headpiece, and you're walking and having this cable running down all the way to your case. It was a really interesting experience, to say the least. Did you find it? Oh, there you go.
There we go.
And that's what they used to call convertible phones.
Okay, so
My dad
you
had
had
that
to
in the car.
you basically had to carry a base station with you.
Correct. So you see that piece, the
He
end
had
of
a
the
10
cable?
kilometer range, right?
I'm sorry?
He had like a 10-kilometer range.
No, it was a cell phone. You could call from anywhere. There was a cell tower.
Oh, okay.
There's no. It's not. You're confusing them with like the satellite.
No, my dad had one that was more like a wireless from the house, but it had like a very very long range. So he would have it on the car, and he had like a 10-kilometer range. So he would be in town on his BMW with a house phone.
Yeah, you see, if you go
I'm
back,
talking 1995. 1995. I'm talking about.
if you go back to that image where you have that one that I said the top on the top right hand corner, that one. If you notice where the phone, the cable meets the case, on the one that I had, you unplug that phone, and that goes on like when you're sitting on your car next to your shift, where you shift your gears. There's going to be a dock for this phone, and a place to plug in that cable that runs down all the way to the trunk of the car, where the base will be docked in. And that's how those would work in the car. And once I park the car, then I have to go back, take the headset out of the front, go to the trunk, open the trunk, get the base, and that was my daily routine.
Oof.
So I figured that would be interesting to bring up.
And now we have this.
Exactly. So
only 35 years later.
And just to be clear, this is not the model I had. The model that I had was a lot sleeker. It wasn't square like this. It was tiny. It was slightly smaller, not much smaller, and he had a leather black case that I had. I always carry it with me. And the phone calls, they were $1 a minute.
Oof.
Receiving and making them, doesn't matter. So you can imagine those phone bills. I think at one point I got a $300 phone bill. So yeah.
Remember when they had free all weekend phone calls?
Yeah, I remember that. So yeah, I definitely know I'm dating myself here, but I figure it would be worth mentioning for this segment, so you have a point of perspective how much technology. And then listen to this. This is 1987 that I had it. By the 2000s, this thing fed in my pocket. So we're talking about a 50 years gap in technology. And this proves to me what the conversation that we're having, and how the technology speeds up exponentially, and how when it started in the revolution age, it went slowly, but it's picking up speed slowly until like let's say the 80s when we had phones like this, and now technology just goes so fast that in a spans of like 80, 90 in two, I want to say maybe no 10 years. I want to say 10 years. We had phones that are not only a lot less than half the size and half the weight, like the ones that you had on the screen, Ray.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing how quickly it changes. I mean, leaving it doesn't feel like it's going quickly, but looking at the speed the technology changes now compared to 50 years ago, it's huge. Like it's huge changes very quickly compared to 50 years ago. The way things changed, like all through the 70s, there was next to no noticeable changes in technology. You know, fads would come through with, you know, like toys or gadgets or stuff like that. I mean, sure, they released like the Commodore 64 in the early 80s and IBM PCs. I remember the first brick Mac I ever saw was early 80s, and I thought it was fantastic. But compared to what we can do now, it's just like dog shit. So I mean,
the scary thing is it's exponential. So the changes that we'll see going forward are going to be a lot faster than the changes we experienced in the past.
So how does that relate to the movie?
Is it the perspective? I wanted to bring up the perspective because the what's happening in the year is in this movie is in the spans of 50 years. And I wanted to bring real life perspective to the audience as to
that could happen. That could happen in 5, 6 years or 10 years. You know
what could happen in 50 years, technology wise, in real time on our planet. So that's basically all I wanted to bring up. Just a little bit of perspective.
Yeah, well, Miles did mention in the movie that it took them 50 years to get the resources to come back. And of course, they, as Geo quite rightly said, they were on a countdown timer.
Yes.
They had to get back to Earth before they changed so much that they could not exist on the surface of the Earth anymore. And I think that those weird spacesuits that they were wearing were actually environmental suits. They weren't specifically for space. They were so that the humans that had been on Mars for 50 years could survive at 1G and 1 atmosphere.
It makes me wonder.
Even through strength, like even if I have the strength, maybe the only thing that I need is actually pressurized suit. If I can put up with the strength to sustain my own weight, but I cannot really control the pressure of the air around me. That there's nothing I can do for it. That is completely external factor. So that's why I understand of the suit. The gravity difference. I know that Mars is lighter, but I don't think it's so much that it will be like a belter that has zero.
Well, gravity. It's 1/3 Earth standard.
That is a lot.
Yeah,
that is a lot.
But then again, like I think that I could survive a full day on a 2G.
Yeah,
you'd struggle. Eventually,
you get tired quick.
I will get tired, but still, like I can survive it, you know. So, like if I'm going on a war on a 2G, like yeah, I can go on a war on a 2G. Don't keep me there for a week. I will die before you make it a couple of days, you know. But like for like real like short time, like yeah, it makes me wonder how they're gonna make it back here, and like how they're gonna readapt, really, you know.
Well, I was also thinking, what's the point, right?
Well,
going back, they're going to suffer again to try to acclimate to the planet.
Because the problem is that it's not like they're at home in Mars. They are in a runaway rock on Mars. You know,
they're Mars
home. Because like in Mars, you cannot really like have green pastures and meadows. You know, so really like we on Mars are like a fish on a fish tank. You know.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is their physiology has already changed enough that they need a suit to live in Mars. I mean, to live
Yes,
on Earth.
but their biological functionalities and needs are still very Earthlings. You feel me? They still eat food that you really should grow it in Earth soil. You know, that goes through the process of Earth atmosphere, like photosynthesis, the seasons. You know, you don't get that on Mars. You know,
Maybe they discover Soylent Green. You know, it's a possibility, right? What do you think, Ray?
Yeah, I think look, any variation beyond like 50% of what we're used to would be harsh in the long term.
Yeah.
And I just did a little bit of Googling, and apparently Mars is 38% of Earth's gravity. It's not exactly 1/3, it's a little bit more. But still, I think it would be challenging over a long period. Short periods, sure. But like Gio said, you're going to lose bone mass, you're going to lose muscle mass. It's going to mess you up.
Yeah.
think about it. These astronauts on ISS have to exercise, I believe, about 6 hours a day, so they don't lose the bone mass faster than they already do. So it's not like they can stop the process of losing bone mass due to the conditioning in space, but they can slow it down by exercising an exaggerated amount of hours. It's almost a quarter of the full day just exercising.
Yeah, they need
Make
to
this whole
work,
experiment
eat,
possible.
sleep, exercising.
Yeah, it's insane.
Well, the human body is designed to adapt to activity and environmental changes. The old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it, is multiplied as soon as you reduce the amount of gravity you're under. So you lose it quicker, basically. So they have to work a lot harder to hang on to it. Of course, the ISS is, I don't know how much gravity they're under. It's probably next to nothing. So, it'd be microgravity, less than 5%, probably even less than that, because they do float around and stuff like that inside the station. So, I mean, they're fighting against practically no resistance, which is why they have to do so much exercise. It wouldn't be as bad on Mars, but it'd still be bad. It's basically the upshot. They would have to probably exercise 4 to 5 hours a day and maybe walk around with do the whole Naruto thing with the weights on your limbs to increase the amount of work you've got to do to maintain the muscle mass. Basically weigh yourself down so your muscles have to do more work in the amount of gravity they're under. Not to become stronger, but just to keep what you've got. It's all maintenance.
Yeah.
So yeah, challenging. So I'm kind of finished up with science. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm pretty much done.
Done? Okay, cool. So as you can tell, we had a lot to say about this movie. We've been kicking along for over 3 hours now.
Yeah.
So, long format. We did mention that at some point that it's a long show. But of course, there's more to discuss. And if you want to discuss this movie or any other sci-fi that you happen to be really keen on with us or with other sci-fi geeks like yourself, do join us on our Discord. Pretty easy to join Discord. If you've got it already, you just scan that linky link right there. The QR code will take you straight to our Discord. And if you have Discord already, you can be on our Discord within moments. Of course, if you don't have Discord yet, why not? It's a great little way to keep in contact with people and find people to talk to on the various subjects which you enjoy. So there's lots of Discord servers out there. Of course, having listened to our entire podcast and getting to this point, we know you love sci-fi, so we'd love you to join our Science Fiction Remnant Discord server. But of course, there are whole bunches of other ones to do with all sorts of other topics that you could hunt up as well. But do join us on our Discord because we'd love to hear from you about what you thought about this movie and other movies as well. We also have a couple of websites. The first one is sciencefictionremnant.com, which is our main portal for the podcast. You can see the currently released podcast episode there, plus our back catalogue. And we also have some quick reads there to do with all sorts of things to do with sci-fi and science. check those out. They're short reads, and they'll just get your sci-fi juices flowing, get you thinking about things to do with sci-fi and how things might turn out in the future, and things that we need to consider moving forward within the sci-fi community and the science community, and our future as a species which intends to get out there amongst the stars. So there's lots of things to think about, and you too can be part of that thought process. We also have a website, thississci-fi.net. That one's for the creators. It's in its early stages, so if you get on board now, you can get involved with how that one turns out. But it's there to help promote people who are sci-fi creators. So if you're writing stories or doing artwork or writing comic books or whatever process you're doing to be a creator, we want to hear from you. We'd love you to join that website and get involved. And we'd like to help get your stories and your ideas and your thought experiments out there. So check that one out. We have a Substack. Now, you may not know what Substack is. It's a little bit new. It's a way of getting your thoughts about science and sci-fi out there. Of course, there are other Substacks that aren't related to sci-fi, but the ones that we're keen on, especially our one, the Science Fiction Remnant Substack, has a lot to do with science, sci-fi, and we put announcements out there about our short reads. You can catch them on that platform as well. And basically how Substack works is you can either log into the website and check out what the Substacks that you're subscribed to have been churning out, or you can set it up so that it sends you a digest in your email, either daily, weekly, or whatever time period you're interested in. So easy peasy lemon squeezy, you can get all the content from your Substacks in your email inbox. So check that one out. That's another way to interact with us. We're very active on Threads, which is part of Instagram. It's sort of like the NiceX. So you can check us out there. We get a lot of good contact from other sci-fi lovers there. So check out our post on Threads. We also post on Insta, Facebook, and also still on X. We're still posting on there, although we get a lot of really good content and feedback and discussion going on Threads. So I highly recommend that you check that one out. We also have Blue Sky. Thank you for reminding me about that. We have a presence on Blue Sky, which is another sort of X alternative. So you can find us on most of the socials, and you can talk to us there about what interests you in sci-fi, what we've been doing on the podcast, and what you'd like to see in future episodes. We have a Buy Me a Coffee. It's a way for you to appreciate what we're doing here. Of course, producing a podcast isn't free. So if you'd like to help us with a one-off donation or a monthly small amount that would help go towards producing the podcast, we'd greatly appreciate that. At this point, Robert and I are putting money in towards that. But if you wanted to help us out because you appreciate what we're doing here, we'd greatly appreciate that. You can do that through Buy Me a Coffee, which there's a link in the show notes for the podcast, and of course on the screen if you're watching on Facebook at the moment. There's a QR code to get to our Buy Me a Coffee site. We have a hotline, as we've mentioned before. We'd love you to leave us a message. We've had a few in the past that we've really enjoyed. People telling us about what they're doing, people saying what they liked, what we've been doing, and we've had discussions around those that have been really enjoyable. So if you have a thought and you're not so keen on joining up to a Discord, you can leave us a message there in the old verbal format, and we'd love to play that. And do let us know if you'd be happy for us to play that on a future podcast, and we'll talk around what you've had to say on that message. So do consider leaving us a call on that one. That's 1305-563-6334. If you're continental United States, you just need the 305-563-6334. Looking forward to hearing from you real soon now. Again, thank you for joining us. Check out our back catalogue for all sorts of fun little romps and discussions and deep dives into the sci-fi that we've enjoyed in the past. And we hope that you'll get involved in our Sci-Fi Future on our Discord. Let us know what you like. And of course, if you are very keen on an IP that we haven't covered yet, we'd love for you to come on and be the local area expert on that one. Don't feel pressured, but if you do have things to say about your favorite sci-fi, we'd love to hear from you. And we'd love you to join us for one of our deep dive discussions in a future episode of Science Fiction Remnant, where you too can be involved in the great sci-fi discussion that we're continuing with our podcast. So thanks for joining us, and we hope you'll join us next week for another fantastic episode of Science Fiction Remnant. Bye for now.
See you next time.